Hi, I'm Cait.
I'm Bailey.
And this is Our Book Boyfriends.
Oh man. We're dancing.
Yeah, the cute little theme song plays. Okay, so today we're talking about one of my favorite books ever. I actually don't know how you rank it, like in your
You'll find out later.
bet. Every Summer After by Carly Fortune.
Yeah, this is her debut novel.
I can't believe that. Like, that this is the first novel that this lady came out with is phenomenal to me. Yeah.
Hit it out of the park.
Out of the park.
And she has one more out. We haven't read it yet.
Meet Me at the Lakes.
Like,
Is it like?
it's not a Taylor Swift song. Meet me at the lakes. It's not Taylor Swift. But Meet Me at the Lake, and then she has another one coming out this year, I think. If I remember that correctly.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you the name.
Me neither.
But I mean to say this in everyone, but we said it in the first one, but just in case you missed it, we're going to spoil this whole book, so
Oh, yeah.
I keep forgetting to say it.
Oh, yeah. I think it's just because, like, I feel like people would probably start from the beginning, but I guess that's not the case because,
Yeah,
like, we do
you never know.
different books. And
So maybe
like,
they've read.
Yeah, so sorry. We talk about the entire book, all of it, all the details, its entirety.
So if you don't want to spoil and haven't read it, go read it and then come back.
Yeah, and this one is worth
Reading.
it. It's so,
Even after we talk about it, I think it's worth reading.
Yeah.
So this one, Every Summer After, is about this girl named Persephone and this boy named Sam. And this is like, it has a dual timeline. So
Yeah.
we go back and forth a lot, present day to the past. And in present day, they're not together. We don't know why, but Persephone gets called back. Sort of, Sam's mom has died. Mm-hmm. Sam's brother calls her and is like, hey, our mom passed away and we would love it if you could come to the funeral. So she goes back and they're kind of like seeing each other again in like 13 years, I think it's been. 17 years
17.
ago. No. I think it's 13.
13.
Because they met originally 17 years ago. But anyway, it's been years.
It's been over a decade. 12 years.
Yep.
It's 12 years.
Once again, they're 30 when this book starts out.
Yeah.
Just like Wreck the Halls.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're 30. So she goes back, sees Sam again. And it's kind of like, I don't think it's a spoiler, but it doesn't matter. They are kind of like rekindling things. And it goes back in time. Like every chapter is like present day to back. And then when we first go back, it is like their first meeting.
Yeah.
And then every time we go back, it's like a year closer to like where we are now.
Yeah.
And so we kind of see the evolution of their friendship and their relationship, what went wrong, what happened. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, present day is kind of filling in the gaps of what's happened since then and also kind of explaining what happened to them in the past as well.
Yeah.
But it's just a really great story.
Oh, yeah.
It's super cute.
It's done fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, in the first 3 pages, you are filled with so much information in such a, like, fluid way that you already I instantly felt a connection with Persephone.
Yeah.
Like,
I
it
don't know
was,
about that, but
I
I instantly knew I was going to love this book.
Yeah, I instantly knew I was going to love this book. Yeah. And we understand, like, we instantly know something went wrong. And we know that she regrets it and she blames herself and she wishes so badly that she could fix things, but
Yeah.
we don't know what it is.
We know
obviously.
she's still kind of like in love with them, like pines for him, wishes things could be different, wish they could be together. Like she's super heartbroken about it, even though it's been so long. And we know they haven't talked in that whole time.
Yeah.
Like they haven't seen each other in 12 years. And so like this is just really big for her.
Yeah.
I'm sure him too, but we get it from her perspective, all of it.
Yeah.
So it's just like a really big moment. She's kind of freaking out and like doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
But it's really, so we can start. I think it starts present day where she gets the call.
Yeah.
And then she immediately is like, okay, I'm going back.
Yep.
And at this point, like we said, it's been 2,000 years.
2,000
It's been
years.
12 years since they've seen each other.
Yeah.
I did a lot of fucking math.
Yeah?
Yes. So it goes now, and then it just goes back and forth like 17 years ago. And then I kind of figured out their ages as I went. So in the present day, they're 30.
Yep.
And so the very first time jump is 17 years ago, which would have been, she was 13 when they met.
Yeah.
And I even, like, figured out the years. So at this point, it would have been, like, 2005.
Okay.
And so, which I think matters.
Yeah.
Like, because, you know, I don't know why, but it just feel like it mattered.
It did matter.
It's also in Canada. It's set in Canada, so that was interesting because
there were geographical landmarks that they talked about that seemed like common knowledge that I had no idea what it was.
Yeah, so the reason they met, because her parents bought a cabin at this, like, lake town called Barry's Bay. Super small town. They bought a cabin because they're from Toronto, and they wanted a place to go in the summer. And so they bought a lake house cabin to go for the summer because the parents were professors. So they had the summer off. Because when I was first reading this, I remember being to Caitlin, I'm like, who the fuck
Gets a whole summer.
Gets a whole summer off. And just like, let's go to the cabin. Let's go.
Yeah.
And she's like, really, they're teachers.
Yeah, they're literally professors at a university.
Oh, yes. But it slipped my mind.
Yeah.
So every summer they go to this cabin. And the very first year, I think she sees the boys at the lake. Because they're the cabin next to her.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming it's a lakefront property. And
yeah.
they're playing in the lake, doing flips in the lake. She kind of sees them, but she doesn't talk to them. And later on, I think that same day, Charlie. So the older brother's name is Charlie, and the younger brother's name is Sam. Charlie's 15 at this point.
Yes.
And Sam is 13. So Charlie comes over and, like, knocks on the door. Did they ask to see the girl? Or did they say hi to the parents?
We said, hey, we saw a girl down at your dock, or whatever. Is she in? And the mom's like, Persephone, you have guests? Like super questioning
Two
everything.
Boys?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, because another thing that Persephone tells us at the 17-year mark is that she's having trouble in school. Like, she's having trouble with, like, her friends and stuff.
Yes.
And so another reason why they got this place out where they did is because it's far enough away from the city to where, like, she's supposed to kind of get a break from, like, kids her own age also. It's also supposed to be, like, a break for her. So they were a little hesitant towards letting her, like, hang out with Charlie and Sam because they're like,
because she was being bullied.
Yeah. The purpose was to kind of get you away from kids. So I don't really know about this. But, I mean, eventually they went out. They win out.
Oh, they said they went out. I'm like, I was jumping
no.
the gun.
Like, the boys, like...
Yeah, and Charlie's like, I'm having some people over.
Yeah.
And my brother's 13 and you're 13. Can he, like, hang out with you tonight?
Yeah.
And so, like, they were kind of, like, forced together.
Yeah, and the whole time Sam's like, stop. Like, I don't need this.
And my own friends.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
And Persephone's like,
sure. I don't got no friends. Why not?
Yeah, like, why not? Let's hang out.
So I think they just, like, watch. Do they even watch something? I think they might watch a movie, or
I
they
think
just
they were
chat
on the deck, like, the whole time or something. They were just outside the whole time.
Yeah, they're just chilling, but they're, like, instantly connected, instantly friends. And so, like, at 13, they're, like, best friends.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I mean, there's not really any distinctive days during summer. It's kind of just like one big summer memory, which I really like because when you look back on, like, your memories, you don't remember.
Day by day by day by day.
You remember, like, the vibes.
The vibes. Yeah,
the vibes.
Even, like, after I read it, I went back and kind of just, like, flipped through it to write, like, the outline. And it's info dumpy as hell.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even realize how much we cover in
a short amount of time.
Yeah. Like, there's so much time span covered in these, like, 300-odd pages. It's kind of crazy because I feel very fulfilled. And I feel like I got a lot out of it.
Yes.
But each, like, chapter, when we go back, is a whole summer.
Yeah.
Like, it's, like, it's a lot. I don't even know. And so it's just, like, little / big moments that have happened during that summer. Not necessarily day by day stuff that happens. So I think one thing I, like, quoted from that first back, the very first time she sees Sam, I think she said something to Charlie, but it says, he gave me a lopsided grin.
Yeah.
I did that, I thought. A thrill running through me. I wanted to do it again.
I wanted to do it again. Yes. It was.
You want to hear something that's going to break your soul?
Oh my God.
Julian said the same shit.
Can we stop?
I know, I'm just...
But it's different.
I agree.
Because it's a 13-year-old little girl.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know why this was so wholesome to me, but, like, when Julian said the literal same words,
we were like,
I was like, the ick. It just made me laugh so hard because, like, literally when I read it, I was like, oh my God. And then when Julian says, I'm like, oh my God, get out of here, you freak. But I just thought that was so funny that she said the exact same thing.
Yeah, she like had this little triumph. She's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, like look at that.
I did that.
And they're best friends after that.
Yeah, and they just had like this instant friendship. And you get a lot of like really good foundation in the first summer. You learn a lot about Sam and Charlie. They're raised by a single mom. She runs a restaurant. It was originally their parents' restaurant. And their dad had passed away, I think, a year prior to their meeting. I think it was really, really close to the 13-year-old summer. I think it was like
I don't remember.
But it was like a heart attack, right?
Yeah, he was at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Mom was at home with the kids, and the dad died at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Or, no, he didn't.
He
had
fell.
A heart attack at the restaurant. Ambulance came and got him, went to the hospital. By the time the mom made it to the hospital, I think he was already dead.
He was already dead. So they didn't even get to say goodbye or anything. But so Sam is telling us also that he kind of struggles in school because, like, none of his friends really know how to interact with him anymore. Because they're like, you know, like, how does a 13-year-old...
And you're young, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it
younger
makes
than that
sense.
when he first died.
Yeah, so he's 11 or 12 or something. Like, young. Like, yeah, your friends are... But he's just talking about how he's been feeling a little bit isolated or whatever. And she's like, yeah, me too. So it's even like...
Did she tell him about the bullying then, or did she wait? I can't remember.
No, I think she does tell him about Delilah, which is the bully in this scenario, is Delilah. They were besties. Percy, she showed them a scary movie.
Yeah, Percy's obsessed with horror films.
Yeah.
And she watches them all the time, and she wanted to, like, watch them with her best friends at a sleepover. And so she put on The Evil Dead or something. I think that's what it's called. I don't know horror movies very well. But she put on this horror film, and her friend got so scared she, like, pissed her pants.
Yeah.
And after that, none of her friends would talk to her again.
Yeah, because it's totally her fault.
They're 13.
Oh, yeah,
dude.
no, it makes sense.
God.
Like,
yeah, no.
Literally, it makes sense. And it's not hard to see or imagine. But yeah, so, like, that is what started it with Delilah being kind of... She wasn't necessarily, like, a bully. It was just, like, isolating. Like, nobody talked to her.
Yeah, she had a group of friends, and then all of a sudden she didn't because...
She had no one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have this, like, rekindling... I mean, not rekindling, but, like, Sam and Percy are just... They just get each other, it feels like. Mm-hmm. Like, from the get. And they end up spending every day for the rest of the summer together. Like, and when... She even says that, like, when he's out with his other friends, like, she misses him. She's like, I just met this guy, like, but I miss him. Like, I miss being around him. At 13, they're, like, just obsessed with each other. And
Did she make him the friendship bracelet this first summer?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. So she makes friendship
I
bracelets.
think the first night.
Really?
Yeah, because he's like, what's this? And she's like, oh, it's my friendship bracelet.
The next day she starts making one.
Yeah, and it's just so cute. Oh,
she makes them for everyone at her school. Like, that's what it's known for. And when those girls stop talking to her, they cut them up, and, like, put them in her desk or some shit.
Yeah, like, traumatic.
So, like, friendship bracelets is, like, a huge thing in this book, or at least they're friendship bracelets.
Yeah.
And so she's like, oh, I usually do colors that match that person's personality. Like, you have blue eyes, I'll do some blues. He's like, no, I want it exactly like yours.
Yeah.
So they have matching friendship bracelets throughout this whole book. And when they, like, instead of pinky swearing, they, like, grab each other's bracelets kind of thing.
Yeah, they, like, swear.
Yeah.
Which is...
We're wearing our friendship bracelets, if you can see them. But some of them are Taylor Swift bracelets from when we went to that. But speaking of Taylor Swift, you know me. Page 20 of the book.
Okay.
It says, she's talking about Sam, you know, Persephone's fawning over Sam as an adult. It says, it's like there was an invisible, unbreakable string that ran between us.
Invisible. Yeah.
Love that. So
Yeah.
then she goes home. I don't remember if when she goes home.
Present day?
Oh, no.
Okay.
After that first summer, when she goes back home to Toronto.
Heard that. Mm-hmm.
Heard that. Mm-hmm. I think she becomes friends with Delilah again.
Yeah.
And so I don't know why they make up, or if just Delilah decided, oh my gosh, she said the other girls were babies.
Yeah. They went on, like, a group date, and they were such babies.
And so she, like, reached out to Persephone again, which is also, I feel like, a very girl.
Oh, yeah. Like, we're just going to ignore it and just
to do.
move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're just best friends again.
Yep.
She tells her all about her summer, whatever. She even goes back to Barry's Bay on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Like, that next Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of crazy.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
I mean, you have this new cottage.
Summer. Yeah, use it.
Yeah, use it.
That makes sense, I guess. And they have friends. And so they go back. So she does see him throughout the years, like throughout the year in between the summers. It's usually Thanksgiving, New Year's one time, and whatever the fuck Boxing Day is.
Yeah, and there's like a civic, they call it civic holiday. And I'm like, what is
the day after Christmas.
Boxing?
Yeah.
Okay, what about civic
Yeah, what's civic holiday?
in
I assume
Canadian
it's
culture?
like our Labor Day.
That's what I assumed as well.
Yeah,
like
that's
considering
kind of
what they
vibes.
did.
It was like long weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they drank. I was like, oh, Labor Day? But so she becomes friends with him again, goes back on Thanksgiving, and she's not wearing her bracelet.
Oh, yeah. And he's like, where's your bracelet?
Charlie goes, man, that's cold, Purse.
Yeah.
I love Charlie.
Oh, he's such an instigator.
I love him.
Like, he's hilarious. He
It's
is
like, man, that's cold.
constantly poking and prodding at both of them, like, throughout the entire
Classic
thing.
older brother.
Yeah, for sure. But, yeah, he's like, that's cold first. He never takes his off. Like,
Yeah. Mom wanted to wash it, and he flipped his shit.
yeah, that's so cute.
And she was like, I don't remember why, something about Delilah, she took it off.
Yeah,
I can't remember why.
I can't remember in that instant why, because that wasn't.
But it was just, I think it was just kind of showing us how important they are, the bracelets are, and will be. But from then on out, she always wore it. But I
Yeah.
just thought it was so funny. Charlie was like,
That's cold.
wow, rude. Oh, Charlie. But then the next summer comes around.
Yeah,
She's 14 now.
yeah,
She brings Delilah for a week.
yep.
How'd you feel about that decision?
I mean, yeah, I think makes sense
That she'd want her friend to come.
that she would want her friend to come, but I am a little, I don't know. So like Delilah's like a girly girl for one, and she's also like extremely flirty. Like she knows she's pretty, she has all the assets, she's 14 and cocky. Okay. So like when she meets the boys, the Floric boys, she's like, "Oh my gosh, they're, beautiful."
I got
Yeah, and Sam went through a big
Yeah.
like body transformation between 13 and 14. And it's something that like Percy's kind of like,
Shit.
yeah, but she's also like, whatever, he's my friend. Like she doesn't really have like feelings yet, but she does not like the fact that Delilah is like looking
Commenting
at him.
on it.
And she's like, let's not. So originally Delilah goes after Charlie. And Charlie's got a girl. This summer, he's got a girl.
Yeah.
And so she kind of like switches her viewpoints to Sam. And then she starts kind of noticing the way that Percy is
reacts.
looking at Sam. And she's like, "Your secret's safe with me."
Yeah.
And she backs off, which I admire a lot.
Yeah, so I'm gonna don't come for me. I'm gonna compare this to The Summer I Turned Pretty the
Yep.
whole fucking time.
Yeah.
Because this is the exact same book. Don't fucking come for me.
I mean, it's very similar.
It's the exact same. It's just The Summer I Turned Pretty is YA. Which, I mean, I almost said like they're children, which they were children in this, but this has the present adult. So I feel like we're getting it told in an adult perspective.
Yeah.
Because it's an adult book. And then The Summer I Turned Pretty is a YA book, so it's much more childish.
Yeah, and Percy is a lot better than Belly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
We can talk about that later.
okay.
I'm comparing Delilah and Taylor right now.
Oh, yeah, identical.
In The Summer I Turned Pretty, Belly's best friend is
Taylor.
and she brings her to the summer house that they go to. Same shit. If you don't know Summer I Turned Pretty, 2 boys, a girl, whatever, best friend. Okay. Same thing. Taylor goes for the other one that Belly doesn't like at first, I think, and then switches gears. I don't think Taylor backed off, though. I feel like that's a very big difference between Taylor and Delilah. Is Taylor kept going for it.
Yeah, she was
Despite what she knew of Belly's feelings, which I hated.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't like Taylor near as much. I don't like Taylor near as much.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Taylor even now, like in the show's perspectives. But Delilah, from that whispered "your secret's safe with me," I was like all about Delilah. Like she's like a good friend. Yeah, very good.
Which is so funny because like at first we think she's gonna be like an enemy, and then
Yeah.
she ends up being like her greatest friend.
And Sam's even hesitant this summer with
Yeah.
Delilah. He's like, "You sure about this?"
yeah.
And he's like kind of being cold or whatever with her. And he eventually does warm up to her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And they
I don't think it was this summer, but
No.
just throughout the years because I think she keeps coming around and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he doesn't like her at first. It's so funny. He makes like they're playing Truth or Dare, and he's like, have you bullied anyone?
Yeah.
She's like, what? No. And he's
No.
like, oh.
You sure? He didn't say
Okay.
that. But he's like,
And freaking Percy looks at him like, shut the fuck up.
yeah, it's like,
Can you not?
I got over it. You should too.
Yeah. And then truth or dare, what else happens?
Oh my gosh. This part, yeah, it makes me mad. So, like, it doesn't make me mad, but it just gave me a feeling. So they're playing Truth or Dare, and Sam is like, if I choose Dare, can we, like, end this game? And Delilah's like, heck yeah, we can. Kiss Percy. And he's like, no. Like, no, I'm not going to kiss Percy. And Percy's like,
Like,
oh. Like, internally, she's
Oh.
like, oh, that really sucks.
Yeah.
Like, not even on a dare is he going to kiss me. Like, that's really annoying. And in comes Charlie, and he's like, what are y'all doing? And I keep wanting to say Taylor.
I'm sorry.
Delilah is like, oh, like, Sam just won't kiss Percy. I just dared him to kiss Percy. And Charlie's like, oh.
Yeah. Kisses Percy.
And then trots back up the stairs.
He's like, ha ha ha.
And I was like, oh, what the fuck? And it's Percy's point of view.
Yes.
So you're like, you feel her emotions. And she's like, that was just my first kiss. What the heck? You know, like, my best friend wouldn't kiss me. And before I even realized what was happening, Charlie's kissing me. And you just feel, like, kind of icky, right? You just feel kind of icky.
I was just shocked,
Yeah.
but not shocked because it's very Charlie.
It's a very Charlie move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like he just does anything that he knows will piss Sam off.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he wasn't even thinking of Percy in that moment.
He was just wanting to piss Sam off.
Yeah. He was just wanting to poke Sam. So I think Sam was kind of pissed.
Oh, yeah, he turned red. They talked about, like,
Okay, I was like, I
his
can't remember what he
ears
looked
turning
like.
red and stuff like that, and, like, just trying to keep his cool. But he was, like, totally not.
Yeah, and he was super pissed at Charlie because I think later he asked her, like,
Was that your first?
is that your first kiss? Yeah.
Yes, that entire conversation is actually funny to me. Do you remember it?
No, I don't remember it being funny.
Well, not, okay.
So I'm confused.
Not funny, but, like, I can't find the right word for it. So he asks her, and she's like, I mean, yeah, technically. And he's like, ah, damn
He's
it.
pissed.
Like, he's, like, mad. He's like, I can't believe Charlie did that. Like, that, you deserve better, basically. And isn't this the talk where they had about, like, have you started your period? He asks her, have you started your period?
Maybe.
And she's like, ew, what the heck? And he's like, this is what I wrote. I said, periods are the foundation for human life. We love an educated man. Because Sam's just like, it's not gross. It's normal.
Yeah.
As a 14-year-old boy, he's like, what? Like,
Well,
this
then-
is normal.
And then she goes, okay, well, do you have wet dreams?
And he's like,
I'm not going to answer that. And she's like, well, then I'm not answering.
and she's like, this is normal. But
Because his dad died from this heart thing. So he now wants to be a doctor.
yeah,
And he literally reads textbooks all the time
for fun.
that his mom buys him because they go to a really small school and he probably isn't educated very well there. And so she buys him textbooks so he can read and, like, study because he wants to become a doctor one day. That's why he knows this and is asking about it and doesn't seem to care.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I didn't realize that was just then.
I don't think most boys care.
About periods?
I'm
Did you
gonna
care?
speak for myself.
Okay.
It's not something we were all discussing, but it never bothered me to talk about.
Oh.
It was just something that happened. But I also have a sister, so
I mean, what I remember is that was, like, a hush-hush. Like, girls don't talk about that in boys'
Yeah.
presence because it is something that they're like, ew, and they just, like, when they know, or, like, they would poke fun. Like, if you're like, I have to go to the bathroom, and you grab your bag, like, everyone knows what you're going to do. You know? So it's just kind of like this little hush-hush.
Yeah, I don't know.
I could see that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if girls made it a thing. I don't know because, like, you know,
Yeah.
men
It's
tease them
been
about
so long
stuff.
too. Like, I'm talking like I'm 50 years old, but
So long ago.
I don't remember.
I know
ever
you don't
being-
care now, but do you
Even
ever
then.
remember a girl talking to you about it at 14? You know, like,
I don't know.
I feel like as we age, like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But I cared a lot in middle school,
Hell yeah, I did.
which is where they are.
Yeah.
Maybe freshmen now, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I feel like I didn't care, but I can't think
But
of
you're
like
also-
an instance.
I don't know if you were then, but, like, science-y.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know, just from, like, my personal, like, memories or whatever. It was, like, just, like, a hush-hush thing.
Yeah.
When you were
Definitely
on.
stigmatized.
I mean, I can see that. I can see that part.
But
Yeah,
I just don't
but-
know if we've done that to ourselves as women.
Oh,
or...
yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's a combination of a lot of things. Like, yeah.
And I think a lot of it is if people, you know, if people know you're on your period, this really went off the rails. If people know you're on your period, they're like, oh, we had this terrible, terrible boss once. I'm not going to say his fucking name.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
one time I think I was being, you know, my sassy self.
Yeah.
And he goes, are you on your period? I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah. It's used as, like,
I was like, no, I can fucking kick your ass on or off my period, motherfucker. Like, I will say this shit to you no matter what. Like,
yeah.
I don't need to be on my period to be sassy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's just something that's used against us.
so I think we don't want to say we are because they're going to be like, oh, you're emotional right now.
Yeah, if I
then.
ever get any
Or-
sort of, like, emotion one way or another, it's
Are
like...
you on your period?
yeah. And it's
I
not
think we hide it
something-
for that reason.
Yeah. That isn't something I've experienced in a very, very long
Oh,
time.
it's been a while. I was in college.
Yeah. But it's... If someone told me that happened to them today, I would totally believe it. I'm like, yeah, that sucks.
That tracks.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
You know? But personally, thankfully, I haven't had that experience. But I think her reverse question is where it's kind of a little
Hilarious.
outlandish. Like,
What?
do you have wet dreams? Like, I mean, I wrote this. I was like, part of me thinks that this would happen because something about, like, adolescence is you don't have weird barriers when you're in conversations with people. Like, little kids will say anything to you. So they're still kind of, like, in this phase where, like, they're learning what to and what not to say, but also, like, with each other, they feel like they can literally talk about anything, including conversations like wet dreams. And I was like, I don't know if this would happen or not, but with these two particular characters, I believe that this conversation would organically happen.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever asked a man that, so.
Ever in my 26 years of life. Never.
So, yeah, I thought it was clever as hell coming out of her mouth.
Yeah.
Like, what a comeback, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, go, girl, get him.
Get him.
Get him, get him, get
But,
him, get
and
him.
then he eventually does respond.
Yeah, they answer each other, which was hilarious.
Yeah. And
But-
it's kind of cute because she's like, what do you think of, like, blondes with big boobs? And he's like, yeah, sometimes, you know, girls with brown hair. And I was like, Percy, that's
He's
your...
like, yeah, and stop.
Anyways.
Caleb loves this book,
I
yeah.
love him. I can't keep
I think
my
that
hands.
was the last thing that really happened, and then she goes back to school.
Mm-hmm.
She visits once again on Thanksgiving and Christmas, and they email a lot too throughout the year. So like
Yeah.
they're constantly in contact, and we get to see that, but we're just not talking about it. But they're constantly talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But on this Christmas, particularly, she goes back, and they get each other presents. Do you remember what she got him?
Yeah. The game operation.
Yes, because it's so funny. He's like looking at it and doesn't say anything when he opens it. And she goes, you know, because you want to be a doctor.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I get it.
He's like, this is the most thoughtful
I'm
gift
not
I've
an
gotten.
idiot.
Yeah. But
It just
this
made me
is
laugh.
also where she meets his friends
Yeah.
for the first time. Jordy and Finn?
Sure.
I want to say it's Finn.
I only remember Jordy for some reason.
Yeah. But they're like, oh, you're Percy.
They're like, oh, we've heard about you. And she's like, oh my God, he talks about me?
yeah. And then they go, like, to his bedroom to, like, exchange gifts or whatever. And what does he get her?
A framed picture of them too. From the first summer. Because she walks in the room and there's a framed picture of them too. And she goes, oh my God, like, I love that
This
picture.
is so cute.
And he's like, I'm glad. Here's your present. Yeah. Are you crying?
I'm crying. Okay.
Do you want to talk about the now parts? Or do you want to go more chronological?
No, I
Or do
think...
you want to go back and forth?
I think the back and forth is really important, actually.
Okay.
Because
She does it really well in the
Oh
book.
my gosh.
Where it's very correlated somehow.
Yeah, there's a lot of parallel. Each chapter, there's a parallel.
Yeah.
Not each chapter, I won't say. But a lot of them, there is a parallel to the nows.
I think the first now chapters aren't that big of a deal. You know, it's very info dumpy.
Mm-hmm.
She dies. She's like, okay, I'm gonna go to the funeral. So she goes to the town.
Mm-hmm.
We get an info dump of like her life as a grown up. She's an editor of a magazine.
Mm-hmm.
She has a new best friend named Chantel. We hear nothing of Delilah. you know, she checks into her motel, whatever, in the now. And then in between the 17 years ago and the 16 years ago, the present day chapter, she does see Sam for the first time.
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't talked about this. So, you know, she's like, it's been so long, I don't know what to talk about. Like, what do we do? And he says, let's do 3 updates. And so they do it in the next chapter for the second summer. Sorry, it's so fucking confusing, the time.
Yeah.
The second summer they come together, they start doing this thing that they will do from now on, where they give each other 3 updates of what's happened since they've seen each other last.
Yeah, just like rapid fire. Like,
Here's a top 3.
Yeah.
And so they do it when they're adults,
Yeah.
when they see each other again for the first time.
And it's Sam's idea,
yeah, he said, let's do 3 updates.
I think is important. Because again, like from the beginning, we know that Percy is the one, she at least feels like she's the one that fucked up. She's the reason why they're not together. We
Yeah.
know this from the beginning.
Yeah,
There are
but we don't
hella
know what happened.
regrets. We don't know what
Still.
happened. So when we see Sam kind of welcoming her with open arms, it's almost even more confusing. You're like, wait, what? You know, like, because she thinks he hates her. Mm-hmm. And he, like, the first interaction that they have as adults, one, she's checking him out, like, hard. And, like, we're liking what we're seeing.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are. And he's just, like, you know, regular old Sam, like the Sam she remembers. That 13-year-old little goofy kid or whatever.
Just hot.
But just, like, 30 with a 30-year-old bod. You know?
And we find out he is a doctor,
Yeah,
cardiologist, who would have thought, living in Barry's Bay now, which shocked her.
very much.
Because he always wanted to get out of his small town, do
Yeah.
big things. But he moved back when his mom got sick to help take care of her. And there is a hospital in Barry's Bay, so he's kind of like moonlighting there and works some shifts there. I don't think he works full time because he's taking care of his mom. Because his brother Charlie lives in Toronto.
Yep.
We know that. And so he's not always there. I think
Yeah.
that's all we learned there.
Yeah. Again, the first few chapters that are present day are just like info dumping.
Yeah.
And it's very emotional. Like we see a lot of her emotions
yeah.
in it. Yeah. It's very captivating. Like,
Oh, yeah. The whole book was.
yeah. It's, oh,
So after the Christmas gift exchange that summer, when they're 14, the next present day chapter, we learn that her and Delilah drifted apart during university and they're no longer friends. Because I think Sam asks. Mm-hmm. She's like, oh, I haven't seen her since college. So, you know, we're thinking, oh, they went away to college. They drifted apart. Whatever. Mm-hmm. We find out the truth later, but, you know. But then Sam tells her when he was in college, he found this old used bookstore and used movie store, and he would just like roam around. And then one day he was like, I guess I should fucking buy something. Like, I'm here all the time. This guy looks at me funny. So he buys some like really old horror films because they remind him of Percy. Because that's like, I don't know if they've shown it at all. They probably didn't. I just didn't write it down. But like we said, that's her thing. Horror movies.
oh yeah, the first summer they did start watching horror
So
movies
they
together.
watched them together. Mm-hmm. And so, although it was her thing, it kind of became theirs.
Yeah.
Their thing. And so, even after they broke up, he was like buying these old horror movies and like just hoarding them and keeping them in a box. And like he still has them. I'm pretty sure he told us he still has them. But we do find out that they've both not watched horror movies since they've broken up.
Yeah, he's
Which
buying.
he's surprised by.
One, he's surprised she isn't watching him because she was the one that was obsessed for very, like, before him. And he is buying all these movies to feel a connection with her, and he's not watching them.
No,
He just
doesn't watch any of them, doesn't open any of them.
he just has them.
Boxes.
Just boxes.
And then this present day chapter, we meet Taylor. That's very unfortunate. Her name is also Taylor.
Yeah, okay, so, like,
Shit.
I know, I wish we could call her something else.
We can call her whatever we want, but her name's Taylor.
Yeah. We meet, adult Taylor.
Yeah.
30-year-old Taylor.
A different Taylor. Which I love when she walks in. Because Percy's like, oh, I don't recognize her. Like,
What cousin is this?
yeah. Oh, your cousin? Thinking she's a cousin in for the funeral. And she goes, I'm his girlfriend. And
The owner of this house. You've seen that video.
I don't know. But they're in a restaurant. But anyway, I was shocked. Were you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was heartbroken.
Oh. My little jaw, I was like, what a... I'm sure Percy was like, I'm so glad I just asked if
What?
that was his cousin. Like, yeah, literal foot in the mouth. Like, I would be like, I'm going to go because I fucked up good.
Like,
Bye. Which I'm sure Taylor walking in on that couldn't have been a good conversation the next time her and Sam were alone. Because you remember his phone kept buzzing when he was talking to Percy and he was ignoring it? 100% Sam. I mean, Taylor. Fuck.
yeah.
Yeah.
We know the conversation didn't go.
Okay, but whatever. I'm sure she was pissed when she first saw that.
Oh, yeah.
Taylor.
And I'm sure Percy's cute, you know?
Sure. I don't know. But I don't. Do you picture people when you're reading?
Yeah.
I don't know what I picture.
I picture, like, vague.
Yeah, like blobbies.
I mean, yeah. Just vague bodies.
Because I know some people will, like, fan cast as they're reading and then just, like, picture that certain person as they're reading.
Yeah, I
And
don't do
that.
I don't do faces. It's more like blobs. But it's, like,
I agree.
distinct, like, blobs, but not a face.
I don't see faces either.
That's weird. We should explore that.
I don't know why, because I don't think I just don't think I want to put them in a box, nor do I feel like I need to put a current person who lives today in that. Does that make sense? So, like, if this ever came a movie, I don't want to be disappointed.
Or that's fair.
And these characters are fake, aren't real, or whatever, and I don't want to, like, fit them to somebody who exists, if that makes sense. Like, they're their own thing to me. Mm-hmm. Whatever. Doesn't really matter, but I don't picture anybody, but I just know a lot of people do.
I mean, if the movie already exists or the show already exists
And
before,
I've watched it, I picture them.
then yeah, I picture that person. But when it's new, like, to my brain, no, it's not a person.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. That it's not a freaking person.
I'm interested to see if that's normal.
Yeah, do you guys comment if you're on the YouTube if you see human faces?
And if so, is it like a person in your life? Is it an actor? Or is it like, are you just an artist mind and you can create your own face in your head? Because I can't create my own faces in my head.
Yeah, I have vague.
I don't have an artistic mind
Yeah.
like that. I'm very interested. Yes, Joe.
I fully make a person.
He's
Fully
artistic.
face?
He's artistic and draws and does
Oh,
stuff. but-
okay.
I
So
feel
like,
like this sounds like I'm like a pretentious ass.
Maybe a
'Cause
little.
Every time like I say something, you're like, well, he's got this going on for him.
no, you're
But-
not a pretentious
I'm just
ass.
saying you do.
I
You're more
Yeah.
artistic than me.
Yeah.
It's just that.
I based on the description of a person in like a book, I will construct a person.
Really? I see body types, especially male body types.
Bet.
Did you say I bet?
I said I bet.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, it's just funny. You don't seem female?
I mean, they're all the same to me.
Okay.
It's basically my body
Other
type.
than Hallie. Hallie was the only one that had any distinction towards her. Her
Yeah.
big old boobies and her dirty knees.
Every episode since that one, I
know.
we brought it
But
up.
everyone else is like a vague, just a woman.
No, I think it's my
But
body
Hallie's the only
type.
distinct.
I think it is me. Like, I
see
me.
yourself?
I think I do.
I don't see
I-
myself when I'm reading Piper from It Happened One Summer. I don't see myself when I'm reading Unfortunately Yours with the girl.
I think the body type, the hair will change, but I think the body type is always just like. But
You
I
should.
could see that like the main character you tend to make yourself.
yeah,
You tend to put traits. You associate your traits with the main character. That's kind of the point of the main character.
Yeah.
So it makes
You
sense.
try to, relate.
I had a burp.
Okay.
Sorry.
I don't know why you felt the need to announce it.
Well, because I have no filter, that's why.
But anyway, Taylor comes in. I pictured tall, heels.
Blonde.
I don't know why, but yes.
I think it says she's blonde.
Oh, probably. Like a white suit. Either
Yeah.
a pantsuit or like a pencil skirt and a suit.
Yeah.
I don't remember if we found out here or later, but she's a lawyer.
Yeah.
And so
this
immediately,
chapter.
okay, so immediately she's like, oh, fuck, like they're a power couple. Like, wow, I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And her and Sam have been drinking.
Oh, yeah, they're drunk.
Oh
God, did she say
drunk
some shit?
As fuck. She does say stuff. So like Taylor's like, I guess I'll drive you to home. You know,
Yeah.
she's not happy. But Sam's like, we're gonna see Percy to her motel. You know?
Yeah.
And Percy's in the backseat of the car. And she's like, so what do you do? She's like, oh, I'm a lawyer. And she just says, like, what kind or whatever. And she's like, can you guys, like, stop hogging all the attractive, successful things for other people to have?
Can we, like, share?
Like, can you just share that? And I think, yeah, that's some shit I would say. I'd be like, of course you are.
Literally.
Of course you are.
Yeah. And then, when she does meet Sam again, though, she does tell him she's an editor. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, you're still writing.
Yeah.
Because
No, that is like, yeah, the next summer we see her writing.
Yeah, so she writes stories.
Yeah,
kind of
stories.
horror related.
Yeah.
Because she loves it. But then in the present day again, the next morning, Sam comes to her motel when she's hungover and brings coffee and breakfast. And he's like, let's go do something. I don't know.
Let's go swim. Or let's go to the lake or something like that.
Because it ends at that point. So, but he brings her coffee and breakfast, which I thought was cute. And he's like, oh, I don't remember what the fuck it was, but he's like, it's not sweet because I remember you don't like sweet.
You don't like sweets in the morning.
You don't like sweets in the morning, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he remembered that from, 800 years ago.
For real.
And then, so when she's 15, that summer is the summer he starts running. He's like super into his cardiovascular health. He has probably like, a lot of anxiety with his dad dying, and he just like doesn't want that to happen to him. So he starts running. Oh yeah, so young, so sad. Starts running, and so she tries to run with him. Almost like dies, and she's like,
this is not for me, bud.
No. So after the very first run, Charlie's like, well, why don't you try swimming?
Yeah.
Like, the lake, there's one right there.
Yeah.
How about you try swimming? And I don't remember if she's like, oh, yeah. Because I think Sam was kind of butthurt. Mm-hmm. He's like, meh. But Sam still, he'll go on his run, and then afterwards, he takes Percy for a swim.
Yep.
Like, he'll ride on the boat next to her so she can swim long distance, and if she can't go anymore, he'll put her back in the boat. So it kind of does, like, a speedy montage until, like, the last day of summer. And she says she's going to swim across the whole lake. Which I don't know how big this fucking lake is, but it sounds terrible.
Yeah. It's like her big goal, though. Like, by the end of the summer, I want to be able to touch that, like, cove way over there. That's insane.
Her and Sam get up on the big day, gets in the boat, she's going, and she does it.
Yep.
She swims to the other side and just, like, lays on the beach on the other side dead for a while.
Yeah.
And doesn't she say something to him?
Yeah, she calls him pretty.
Oh, yeah, you're pretty.
She's like, man, he's so pretty. And he's like, you think I'm pretty? And she's like,
I said it out loud. She said, man, I'm fucked up.
Yeah. And he's like, sit up, please. Drink this. Like, yeah, she's out of it. Completely out of it. Dead. Her body's dead as shit. And, yeah. And he's like, I'm so proud of you. He's, like, talking her up. He's like, I'm so proud of you. You did it. Like, that was awesome. Like, just being, like, a really good friend. And he's just so wholesome. Every encounter that we have with Sam, he's just so wholesome. And he does a really good job of making everyone feel included. Like, a couple summers ago, we were talking about the Christmas scene. He's, like, talking to Percy and his friends. And, like, it's not just, like, a conversation with Percy and a conversation with his friends. Like, it's like he does a
meld them
amazing job of, like, bringing them together. And for a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old kid, like, these attributes are amazing to have.
Yeah,
like,
it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Like, his just attentiveness.
And I'm sure it's, maybe being raised by Sue.
Yeah, who's awesome.
Yeah, his single mom. So after she makes it across the lake, she goes home to his house, and Sue makes a big breakfast for all of them, which this will continue every year.
Yeah.
And Sue makes them a big breakfast. And she said, I'm as proud as if you were my own daughter.
Yeah.
And that was what Sue said to her that day.
Yeah.
Obviously she has this, like, crazy connection with Sue. And I don't want to say I didn't get it, but I don't feel like we saw it a lot.
No, we don't see it in the ways that we saw it, like, again, we were talking about how we're going to always see parallels with, like, The Summer I Turned Pretty.
I didn't get that one either.
Oh, really? I did. I felt that one. But.
Yeah, Belly has a super connection to the boy's mom.
Mm-hmm. Susanna.
Thank you.
Sue and Susanna.
You just blew my mind.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And she was also talking about, like, how she's just young and she's, like, pretty. She's like, my mom is, like.
And her parents had her older.
Yeah, and they were just older. She had Charlie, I think the math was like at 20, and she had Sam at like 22 later, or something. So she's young, she's cute, and yeah. So I think it's just like also like she's just welcoming. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which to a young girl, pretty much any older woman that shows you attention or is like welcoming to you, like you're gonna be. Like,
and she doesn't have like, I don't want us to sound like we're like shitting on Percy's parents. We don't see them a lot at all.
And what we do see of them, they're super supportive.
Yeah, they're great.
They're great. Yeah. So it's just like, it almost is like she has more time with Sue during the summer than she does with even her own parents because she's around the...
I wonder what her parents do all day.
I know. I'm like, just read the paper, like...
No, we don't ever see what they do. Probably just read.
Literally. I mean, that... what
Can
a
you
life.
Imagine? Joe, get me a cabin that we can go to for the summer.
After this book, I did text Aaron, my boyfriend's best friend's fiance. I texted her. I said, look, me, you, and the boys, we got to get a cabin. And our kids got to grow up together, okay? Like, I'm planning our entire lives out right now.
Right now?
And she's like, down. Let's go.
I bet she was.
Oh, yeah, she was.
Yeah. That's funny. And then, so that was the last day of the summer. And then she goes back home. We talk about, what?
There's something else that happens this summer.
That summer? I feel
this summer. Okay. Where they're kind of both being a little bit more open about their attraction to each other. And there's like this moment where there's this almost kiss.
I don't think that was that one. Oh.
Sam like wakes up and he's like, I don't want to mess this up. And he's like, you're my best friend. Like, I trust you with everything. I want it to stay that way, kind of thing. That happens this summer.
When did it happen?
I think it was like the last scene that we see.
Maybe. I don't remember. I just remember the swim and the brekkie. Brekkie. Ooh, but this school year is when she goes back home and Delilah wants her to go on a double date with Delilah's cousin. Mm-hmm. So Delilah has a friend, or whatever, is dating this guy who is her cousin's friend. Mm-hmm. And then she wants Percy to go on the date with her friend so they can double date, whatever. And so she goes on this date and she kind of messages she messages Sam before and was like, oh, I'm going on this double date with Delilah. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. I loved all of these scenes where she's like messaging Sam about Mason. That's the cousin's name. Because they just filled me with, you know, like when you read something, your heart is just like swelling and you're just like slightly nostalgic, but also like,
yeah.
Because you know that bitch was being shady as hell when she was sending that. She's like,
oh yeah, she's like, looky, attraction, like,
trying to make him jealous kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so she goes on this date, which I don't really think we hear a whole lot about it, but when she goes back to Barry's Bay on New Year's Eve and Sam asks, how was your date? And she's like, oh, I didn't think you cared, like, because he's like, you never brought it up again. And she's like, oh, I've been on 2.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, why didn't you tell me? And she's like, I didn't think you cared.
Like, we don't talk about stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he was like, of course I care, or something, which was cute. But
yeah, and he like tries to play it off like a friend, like, you're my best friend, like, of course I care, type thing.
Mm-hmm. I think she goes back.
I think there's something for the civic holiday that year.
My tummy. So she goes New Year's Eve and then she goes back to school before summer and Mason gives her that silver charm bracelet.
Oh yeah, at his 18th birthday.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't it like his 18th
Yeah,
or
he's older for sure.
Yeah.
And it was like a silver charm bracelet and he says something about her dingy friendship bracelet.
Yeah, it doesn't match that bracelet that you have on or something.
Yeah, or something nicer than that bracelet.
Yeah.
Something like that. I'm sure she wears it. And he asks to be his girlfriend. I'm sure she says yes, does she?
No.
She doesn't say yes? Oh, he just asks and puts it on. And she's like, okay, bye.
Well, he was like, you don't have to say yes now, but know that this is what I want. And she's like, all right, cool. Let's keep this going the way that it is.
Okay. She's like, okay, yeah. Because, I mean, I don't know. I feel like slightly bad for Mason.
Yeah.
But also I get it on her end. I can't remember if it was this point or if it was New Year's Eve, but I think it was later on, so I'll keep it in actually. But she's messaging Sam again, and he asks like, oh, like, do you like him? Like, do you like Mason? And she said, he's okay, but I like someone else more.
Yep.
I was like, wow, classic girl teenage move.
Oh, yeah.
I loved it.
Loved it.
I was like, been there.
Done that.
It's just so funny. Like, it just felt very nostalgic. Like, this whole book felt nostalgic despite me not having a fucking lake cabin or never having done not living this life at all. But the book it's just nostalgia.
I literally wrote, I feel broken and like someone is writing my old feelings and forcing me to read them. Like,
Wow.
it was crazy because it was like, yeah, crazy. This book is crazy for me.
It's definitely a lot of emotion in a book.
It's lot.
Very emotional.
It's a lot. And there's something about like childhood love that gets me every time. Like, it's just like kills me. It kills me.
It's the coming of age aspect.
Oh, yeah. It's
Yeah.
stunning.
That's
Because, I mean, I feel like that's something
like,
we can all relate to.
yeah, that's like a common thing everybody has. It's like
Yeah.
a nostalgia for like when you just turn like 12 to like
Yeah.
17.
Yeah.
Like-
Like, just something about like, even Stranger Things, even that show felt nostalgia. Wasn't alive in that time period.
Yeah.
I'm not a boy. Like, but just something
Yeah.
about the show as a whole, like, I think it's just children, and as adults, we just really miss that
Yeah.
freedom and just whimsy, and now
Yeah.
we're like, bills! And, like, I just...
Like, I
And
wish
she's, like,
the only
her-
thing I worried
Yeah,
about.
the one thing she's worried about is swimming across the lake.
Yeah.
Like, okay. I
Yeah.
wish that was and she's worried about if this boy likes her, but...
Yeah.
And now we're just like sad and miserable all the time, and it's just like, oh, to be a child again with a
Yeah.
summer cabin and frolicking in the sun
I know.
with our freckles.
I know. I think that's another thing. Like, this summer I turned pretty. I love that. And it makes me feel some type of way. Even though I ain't never had a set of boys that were brothers that I was in
That were
love
like-
with one, and then in love with another, and then in love with the other. Like, that never happened. But, like, do I feel it in every
I feel
cell
like
of
it
my
happened to
body?
me. Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah.
I fucking do.
So we go back to present day now. And so, like you said,
Yeah. Keep going.
they, like you said, like, let's go to the lake. And so they go out on the boat and, like, just
Stop.
floating on the lake. What are... Cait is crying.
I'm just gonna zoom in. It's like really close.
So I don't know why, but I read this scene also like 3 fucking times because I was so confused at what happened on the boat. Something happens, like, I don't know if they like fell or they somehow ended up kind of tangled together,
Yeah.
and they don't kiss, right?
Nope.
But they like look at each other like they're gonna,
Yeah, and he, like, touches
like
her
her hip or
and-
something. Yeah, and she was like, oh, like, I don't remember, something about like, oh, it's hard to break old habits, or old habits die hard, or something.
Yeah.
They break apart, and then Percy feels super, super guilty
Yeah.
about Taylor
Uh-huh.
because she's like, oh, he has even though they didn't fucking do anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's why I went back and reread it. I'm like, wait, did you kiss and I missed it?
Yeah.
I was like, you didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, but she feels really, really bad. Oh my God. Is this why you're crying?
I don't know.
And Percy asked Sam if Sue hated her in this boat. She said, did Sue hate me? Is that why you were crying?
No.
Why are you crying?
I actually don't know when it comes up, but I read my notes and it was enough.
Okay. But yeah, she asked him, like, did Sue hate me? He said no, but she was hurt too. Like, you were family.
Yeah.
And you just left and never came back.
Yeah.
That part really fucked me up. Because obviously Sue's dead now.
Yeah.
And she can't talk to her. She hasn't seen her. They obviously left on bad terms. And so
Yeah.
that part really, like, got me. I
Yeah.
was like, fuck, that was sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then that's the end of that chapter. The present chapters I feel like are really, really short until probably the end. So we're going back to summer now. They're 16.
Yeah.
Woo, woo, woo. She begins working at the tavern,
Yep.
which is the place that Sue owns, and both the boys work there as well. She wanted to work there so she could have more time with Sam. Obviously, her parents were super hesitant about it. Like,
Why? You
don't need a job.
Yeah.
Which, listen here. I will never understand that. But working teaches you so much.
Oh, yeah.
If I have a child, that bitch would be working at 12. No, I'm just kidding. But, I mean, I I think 16 too. And I mean, I feel like I just learned a lot from working that young. And like, I know people now that I work with that the job I have currently is their first job, and that blows my damn mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, also, I think working in food service just teaches you so much on how to be a good person.
Oh yeah, I was actually just I work in food service right now, and I was just having a conversation with the customer because I was like, guys, I'm so sorry for the wait, and they're like, honey, you're busy, we see it, it's okay. And I was like,
People will yell at you.
I was like, thank you so much, like you have no idea how much that means, because yeah, it's been crazy and people are not usually this nice. And they were like, yeah, well, we worked in customer service, like we get it. And
Exactly.
I'm like,
if
oh yeah,
you work in customer service, you get it.
no, I think everyone needs to work in customer service for at least a year. Like, you learn so much about yourself and
Patience,
others.
you learn patience.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't have a lot of patience, but I do at restaurants.
Yeah.
Or things like that. But she begins working at this tavern, not for money or to learn any values, just to be near Sam at all times, which, you know, whatever you do, what you gotta do.
Yeah.
So, but I think she only works like twice a week there. Because Sam doesn't work a whole lot either.
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 days.
And I want to say she's like a server there. Could be wrong. Cashier? I don't know.
Busser and dishwasher.
I thought he was the dishwasher.
She helps him.
Okay. But I can't remember. This chapter somewhere, Sam tells Percy that he has kissed a girl. Because before, when she kissed Charlie, he hadn't. Mm-hmm. And so now he's telling her now that they're 16. And she said, my heart exploded into tiny particles.
Yeah.
That's what she said, isn't it? Yeah.
It is.
And we find out he's kissed 2 gals.
Yup.
Sneaky little minx.
Yeah, and he was talking about the one was like at a dance. He was like, it was the thing to do. It was the last dance. It was a slow song. She was my date.
Like, that's what I do.
Like, I gotta do what I gotta do type thing. And then the other one was basically an attack. She was like,
they were ice skating, I think. And
Yeah.
he said she shoved him into the penalty box and kissed him. And he said, yeah, I didn't see her again.
yeah, he did. But that was the last time I went out
He
with
said,
her.
oof, ignored her.
Yeah.
And then they do their yearly swim thing again. Mm-hmm. She's still seeing Mason at this point.
Yeah.
So he comes over the morning before her yearly swim this summer. And I don't know, she's like going to the bathroom or something. But Mason calls. You remember that?
Yep.
Mason calls. Sam picks it up and answers the phone or whatever. And he's like, oh, Percy, it's for you or whatever. And it's Mason. And she's talking to him. He's like, I just want to wish you good luck on your big swim. But then he was like, who dat? Who answered the phone? And she's like, oh, it's Sam.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, like he's there awfully early or something. And she's like, oh, he's waking me up. I don't know.
He goes with me to make sure I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like, she downplayed the relationship for sure.
And I'm sure Mason knows about Sam. But yeah, like you said, I'm sure she downplays the shit out of it.
Yeah.
I don't remember. How do you feel about Mason? Did you really?
I'm so indifferent.
I kind of feel bad for him.
I mean, yeah, like, I get why Percy's with him. Mm-hmm. Like, one, it's a guy who's actually, like, willing to show his attraction for her and be, like, open about it. And he treats her well and everything. And it's kind of convenient, too. You know, like, she can have these fun group dates with her best friend. You know, like, it makes sense. Like, wanting to be wanted is,
and
like...
I'm sure Delilah's pushing it.
Yeah.
Like, peer pressuring her up.
And, I mean, Mason is good looking. Like, she tells us that he is extremely good looking. He's extremely athletic. You know, he's older. There's a lot going for this Mason guy. And he seems to really be digging Percy. Like, actually digging her. And
which makes me sad for him.
I think she, like, she's not indifferent, but it's kind of like, I think she's subconsciously putting him as a placeholder. Like, Mason will do for now.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
Which is not fair.
And I think even at one point, Sam asks, what do you see in him? Mm-hmm. And she says, he likes me back.
Yeah.
Which I know she says that a lot later, but
I think it's pretty close to where we are.
I think it is later because it's after Sam shut her out. Mm-hmm. And because I think that was like a dig to him. Mm-hmm. Like, he likes me back. Bitch.
Yeah.
You know? And so, which I understood her point of view on that point too. Like, okay, this guy doesn't like me back. I got to forget about him. Despite my feelings for him, that's never going to work. So I'm going to try to move on with this guy who likes me. Yeah. But it also just made me feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's 18. I'm sure he fucking got over it. But just like, you know, I was just like, poor guy. Because she strung that bitch along for years.
Literally.
Years.
Yeah. kind of
Like, this
impressive.
book is short. I didn't realize it until I was going through the outline and doing the years. And I'm
The
like,
summers.
oh, shit. Mason's in a lot of these.
Yeah.
And so, like, he's just been...
Yeah, he's like an interest. He's a boo thing. And then he's like...
Comes around.
Later, the next summer, he comes around. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, shit. Like, this guy has been strung along for so long.
Yeah.
So I feel a little bad for him, but it's whatever. He'll get over it. I'm sure.
Yeah.
This is the time. I think it was another holiday. Her parents leave her alone in the cabin for the first time.
Yeah.
She's 16. They leave her alone.
Yeah.
She is like, I'm going to watch a horror film.
Yeah,
I
like-
love horror films. I
Yeah.
just did a swim today. I'm tired. I want to lay around.
Not do shit.
Yeah.
And Sam's he's at the tavern, right? Is he working at the tavern?
He might. Yeah, because, like, why aren't they around? Why isn't he there? Yeah. So she went home, watched this movie. She gets really fucking scared. Mm-hmm. Because, like, who wouldn't?
Yeah.
She's trying to lay down and go to sleep after she's watched this movie. I think there's a storm even.
Yeah.
Which, terrifying in every way. In the middle of nowhere, fucking cabin, parents are gone, you're home alone. And so she calls over to the Florrick's house, and she's like, well, one, Charlie answers. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, let me go get Sam. And so Sam answers, and she's like, I'm really scared. And so he comes and gets her, and he brings her back over to, like, stay the night. And he doesn't lock the door, and she's like, you gonna lock that?
Yeah.
He's like, no, we never do. And she goes, you gonna lock that?
And he's like,
shit.
Yeah.
Okay. And so he's like, okay, let me, like, get the couch made up for you or something.
he was like, I'll sleep on the couch.
Oh, yeah, I'll sleep on the couch.
And she's like, you're not going to sleep in the bed? And he's
you're
like,
not going to sleep with me?
I mean, I
And he's like, I'll go
guess.
get the air mattress, and you can sleep in the room with me. Like, I'll sleep on the air mattress, you can sleep on the bed. And she's like, well, won't that be loud? Like, we can just sleep on the same bed.
Yeah.
Oh,
And she's like, would it really be that weird?
yeah.
And he's like,
16-year-old boy, literally dying, I bet.
yeah. Well, he's like, is that what you wear to bed? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, little revealing from up here. He literally said that. He gets into bed with a
tank top, right?
Yeah.
She's wearing a tank top. I'm sure it's hot as shit.
Yeah, he gets into bed with the sweatpants and his t-shirt on.
And she's like, is that what you wear to bed?
and he's like, no, it ain't.
He said, in the winter. She said, it's summer. What do you wear to bed? And he's like, just my boxers or something.
She's like, get over yourself. It's fine. I've
Yeah.
seen you in your swim trunks. It's
Literally
the
the
same thing.
Yeah. Your face. And so he gets in bed in his sweats, and then later he's like, I'm dying. And she's like, just fucking take them off.
Yeah.
And so he does. And then, I literally typed out the fucking conversation.
I'm ready for
It's
it.
beautiful.
It is beautiful.
So, I don't remember who. Okay, she says, I'd rather make out with someone else. Who, Percy? Don't make me tell you. Please tell me. I think you know. I want to be sure.
Yeah.
I'd rather kiss you. Boom. He immediately kisses her.
Yep.
And it was so cute.
It was cute. It was
Also felt very teenager-y, like, like,
Inchy,
oh,
itchy.
who?
Yeah.
Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee.
Yeah, and like the hesitation, like who's gonna make the first move?
Oh, and then, yeah. Yeah, who's going to make the first move? And then after they kiss, he said, I'd rather kiss you too.
Yeah.
Oh, that was cute.
They always have the cute little quips.
Yes, they're so
They
cute.
are so freaking cute.
So they just make out. They're 16.
Yeah.
They don't do anything. Yeah. He's like, okay, we need to chill or I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
Kind of. He's like, okay, calm down, calm down.
Yeah.
And one thing about this book, it's not spicy, in my opinion, at all.
No, it's like we understand what's going on.
It's a fade to black for sure.
Yeah, and it's not explicit and
Not even a little bit.
any means. Mm-mm.
Yeah, so very different than
Yeah.
Tessa Bailey.
Very.
It's just more, this one's just more emotional, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely. But,
Yeah.
so then the next morning, you can talk about that.
Oh, I actually love the relationship that Sam has with his mom, and this is one of those things. So they wake up by Sue knocking on the door, and she's like, hey, like, you're usually up by now, are you gonna go for a run? And he's like, I'll be down in a sec, Mom. And he's like covering Percy's mouth. He's like, don't say anything. And so they get dressed and they go downstairs, and Sue like looks up and she's like, and Sam's like, Percy was home alone last night. She watched a scary movie, scared herself. I brought her home. You were asleep. She slept, like, I brought her home. She slept here. She slept over.
Where'd she sleep?
Where'd she sleep? In my bed. And she's like, go make 2 bowls of cereal. And she basically does the mom talk. Mm-hmm. She's like, you two are too young for what you think you want. Be respectful. don't take any shit from any man. Don't do anything you don't want to do. Like,
Yeah.
just plain, simple, flat. And Percy's, like, shocked. Because, one, she doesn't have this kind of relationship with her parents. They never talk to her about sex, anything like this. And also, Sam just being so upfront.
Yeah.
Sue didn't ask shit. He just said,
Word vomited everything.
this is what happened. This is everything you need to know. And this is, like, totally normal for me to tell you, you know? And I love that. Sam's like this for the entire book. He's like, just like, this is how it is. But not like in a dickish way. Because there are like, you know, blunt ways of doing that. But he does it in like a delicate way. Like, you deserve to know this information. Here it is. You know? But I think that's really all that happens that morning, right? And then they kind of just like
talk.
move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, I don't know if this is like the last day of summer, but it's definitely towards the end of the chapter. I'm sure she's thinking like, oh my gosh, what's gonna fucking happen between us? Like, we're gonna chat all the time.
Like, this is the start of something.
This is it. And then he sits her down and kind of like gives her the let's be friends talk. He says, I want to wait till we're older. Like, what my mom said really resonated with me, and I've been thinking about it, and like, I just want to be ready, and I don't want to mess this up.
Yeah.
And so she is
Pissed.
She's, I guess, yeah.
She's got rage tears.
Okay. Oh.
She's crying.
I know.
And she's like, what the heck? What do you mean? Like,
yeah, she's like, I'm ready now, bitch.
yeah,
Like, this
she's
is
like,
it.
so what? Like, yeah. They had a beautiful thing. From the
Their
beginning.
make out.
Yeah.
Just kidding. So they're just friends now. And then we go back to present day.
Chapter 11, I think it is.
Really?
Yeah, chapter 11 is now. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I don't... All I know is we see Charlie as an adult for the first time. And we see some tension between him and Sam.
He's like, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, because they're drinking and, like, right after the lake, yeah. And then he kind of flirts with Percy, like, his silly little ways, like, just kind of teases her, just like he's always done. And so I thought that was cute, that he's kind of the same-ish. And then I think Sam, I don't remember what happens exactly, but Sam tells Percy that he broke up with Taylor.
Yep.
Right here. And then she's like, why? And he's like,
You know why.
yeah, you know why. And he just takes her back to the motel.
He takes her down to the basement.
Oh,
Yeah, this is where he shows her the movie
the
collection.
movies, you're right.
And it's like, I think it literally said 92.
Insane.
I may
Movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, he knew the exact amount, yeah.
Like, it's a crazy amount of movies. And,
yeah.
no, yeah. He was talking,
"Oh."
I've read ahead. He was talking about how he hasn't been sleeping well or whatever. And he was like, let's just for like, you know,
Sit here on the couch,
old
yeah.
habits die hard. Let's watch like a movie. And they're on their separate ends of the couch that they used to sit at as kids. They put the movie on. And he's starting to like nod off. And she's like, just lay down. It's
Yeah.
fine. Like, take up whatever space you need. Like, just nap. And they end up both falling asleep
For the whole night.
for the whole night.
That's right.
Yeah. And when they wake up, it's the morning of the funeral. Mm-hmm. And so we see that. And this is when he takes her to the motel.
You're right. He takes her back to the motel so she can kind of like
Clean
shower,
up.
get ready, whatever. And in the truck, before he drops her off, they get a little frisky.
Yeah, I can't remember why.
Some clarification.
Yeah.
On
So-
frisky?
No, you said it fades to black, so I don't need clarification on it. This is modern day,
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is right before the funeral.
but this is after the disaster that we're supposed to eventually figure out.
Yeah.
happened. Okay. I'm just trying to clear it up. In
Yeah, this book is
landscape.
really
timeline
hop
is-
crazy.
It is crazy.
Okay.
But yes, this is now present day. There's 30. Still don't know what happened between them at all.
Yeah, we still have, as the reader, we still have no fracking idea.
Yeah, what happened between them.
Yeah.
And so they get a little frisky. And before she leaves the car, he says something like, I don't remember why they're talking about the past, but he says, like, you broke my heart.
He said, I loved you.
Yeah.
She says, I know. He said, you broke my heart.
Yeah.
She goes, I know that too.
And then she just fucking...
Before they got frisky, though, he's crying. He starts crying. And she's like, wow, never seen, this is adult Sam Florrick. He's crying. And she just sits with him. And that's kind of where, like, the touching aspect comes from. It's like she puts her hand on his thigh or whatever, and she's just letting him cry. She's not trying to console him. She's not doing anything. She's just present. And then, yeah, I can't remember, like, how I got all frisky.
I know, me neither.
But I remember being like, damn. Like, that got hot and steamy quick. Like, whoa.
Quick. Yeah, also, it's the day of his mother's funeral.
I know.
I didn't like that.
Well, she didn't either.
I know, but I'm just like,
You're like,
weird. Okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah, what the fuck? So,
that's the end of that chapter.
yeah, it is.
It's the end of that chapter.
We go back to summer 13 years ago. She's 17.
13 years ago, she's 17. Yes,
Yeah.
I needed that out loud.
Oh, yeah.
In my head.
I was like, yeah, that's what I said.
No, I needed to say it.
So, in this time period, she has made it official with Mason on her end.
Yep.
That they're officially dating. And so he's coming to the cabin this year for like a weekend, the civic day.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So he's coming out. Oh, this is when Sam...
I looked up Civic Day. It's a celebration in Canada for the government, basically. You're celebrating
The Canadian government?
pretty much. And like the heroes associated with it is what Wikipedia said.
Okay.
And I guess each territory has a different name for it, but...
Oh.
Alrighty. But Mason's coming, and Sam asks her... This is where Sam asks, what do you like about Mason? And she says, he likes me back. Because this is the next summer after he said, I just want to be friends. Bro, can you imagine the dagger that went through his heart, dude?
Yeah.
And this summer, Sam started to piss me off. This is where Sam started to piss me right off.
Okay, yeah, I'm
For the
ready
rest
for
of the
it.
book.
I'm ready for it. Okay.
Well, he's being a dick. He's giving her mixed signals.
Okay.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not.
He's like, you said, I'm not. He's just like saying, let's be friends. And then he's like getting kind of weird. And then he like backs off. And then he's like getting kind of weird again. And then we also see Charlie being mad at Sam, which we somewhat a little bit later in this chapter find out that Sam told Charlie what happened. And so Charlie knows and he's mad at Sam for ruining it. Mm-hmm. He's like, just date her.
Yeah.
And so he's mad at him. And so he says kind of shitty things to Sam, but, we're in Percy's perspective, so she doesn't know.
She's like,
and so
what?
she's like, what's going on with them?
Yeah.
And then later she, like, pieces it together within a few nights of that summer. She's like, you fucking told him, didn't you?
Yeah, so not only have I been rejected by you, but you also had to bring your brother into it. Like, what the
How
fuck?
embarrassing.
Yeah.
And then Sam says, I don't want to wait anymore, and that he was wrong. And then I respected the shit out of her, and she says that, I have a boyfriend now, and he's coming in a week, and you need to respect that.
Yep.
Which, okay. But she respects her relationship there.
Now. I mean, it's been a whole year now.
I'm just saying. So she's like, no, I'm with Mason. Whatever. Mason comes up. And it's just a fucking men pissing contest.
Oh, yeah.
On who knows Percy better.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't it be?
Exactly.
It was silly and whatever. It was literally just a pissing contest. And then Mason leaves.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say about Mason's visit, really?
I mean, yeah. I think Sam, like, trying to lay claim, basically, to Percy, especially about the writing. So, like, Sam is Percy's person who, like, reads all of her work, and he has critiques and stuff. And that's kind of something that is visited from the second summer that they know each other for, up until the time period that we're currently talking about, which is 13 years ago, right? That summer?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's read all of her stuff, and he's asked her before, like, what does Mason think of your writing? She's like, oh, I've never showed him anything. And so in front of Mason, they're talking about, like, the writing, and Mason's like, wait, what? And
he's like, well, what do you think of it?
Yeah, Sam's like, oh, she's a great writer. What do you think? And he's like, Mason is like, well, I've never seen any of it. And Sam's like, oh, well, I edit all of her stuff. My favorite is this one. And that's kind of like where I was like, all right, buddy, like, come on now. But Mason's reaction is what made me mad, where he was like, kind of like
grabbing and kissing her.
Grabby and like sloppy kissing and like just really, I mean, he's doing it to piss Sam off. Not because he wants to be with his girl, but because he wants to piss Sam off. And there's a sloppy kiss. Percy is like, okay, like, let me come up for air. And Sam's walking out the door.
There he go.
He's like, I gotta get up early and run, you know? And it's
Yeah.
like, and she's mad at Mason, too.
Yeah.
She's like, the whole week, he was super handsy, super touchy, like he was laying claim to my body, is what she said. And I was like, oh, that makes me so mad. And she's like, I was mad at them for, like, ruining my time with Sam. Because she's still talking about, like, wanting to hang out with Sam. Like, yeah, Mason, Delilah, Patel, they're super cool. Whatever. I want to be with Sam. So,
She doesn't really see Sam a lot that summer.
he kind of, like,
They do their own thing.
he
Yeah.
really does push her away.
But she
this
does
summer.
break up with Mason that last week of summer over the phone. What? Oh. And then she hangs out with Sam again, of course, assuming it's the end of summer, and they're laying in his bed, and he's reading an anatomy textbook, and she's reading a book, and they're laying on his bed in their bathing suits, and then they fuck.
They don't fuck. They do stuff.
You don't think they do?
No, they don't fuck. Because later on we know that they did not ever fuck before.
What?
No, they just did stuff.
Oh, whatever.
I mean, yeah.
They did stuff.
I mean, it's still, like,
Yeah.
a big thing. I wrote...
Damn, I really thought they did.
No, they didn't fuck. I wrote, anatomy has never been so sexy.
Yeah, he's like...
He's reading his anatomy textbook.
Yeah, so he, like, grabs her calf and says the, like, anatomical name for the muscle and goes up and does it all. Joe.
Why are you laughing?
I mean,
It's so great.
like, obviously, in the context of the book, I'm sure it's, like, a very, like, great
Sexy as
scene.
hell. Yeah.
But, like, out of context, saying he said the name of your calf muscle.
Yeah.
It's, like, it's just funny. It's
Okay.
just funny because it's
Okay.
not in the context of the story.
Okay. In the context of the story, it was hot as hell.
I'm sure it was.
I mean, it was so funny to me.
But,
Funny? Why funny?
Because he's just nerdy, and that's such a nerdy way to, like, get turned on with somebody. And it was just... I mean, yeah, it was a good scene, but it was also just really funny to me how it started.
Yeah.
Because she's, like... They're sitting on opposite ends, and she's, like, poking him with his foot. Like, what are you doing over there? What are you reading over there?
Yeah, like,
she's
must be really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
trying to-
she's fishing.
fishing hard.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm trying to read. Can you stop? And I don't remember if she asks him to teach her what he's reading or what happens, but somehow he ends up like, this is this muscle. This is...
Yeah.
Climbs up. And then they make out, and I don't know what all they do, but... Because once again, it like fades to black, but we get like the lead up, but we never get the
Yeah.
action.
And the end of it is like, are we really doing this? And she was like, I don't know if he's
That's why
talking
my brain
about
was-
present moment or like something bigger, but she said, yeah, we're really doing this. But it wasn't sex.
That's what I thought this was.
Yeah. No.
And then we go back to present day after that, and it's the funeral.
Oh, yeah, I put emotional whiplash. The next scene is the fucking funeral, and I'm crying for the third time.
Oh my god. Taylor's there,
Yeah.
and she's holding his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Laying claim to his body.
Truly. I think it's just a thing. You have never felt, like, jealous around someone and, like, grabbed Aaron's hand.
No.
I don't know. I just feel like you'd be that way.
I mean, maybe.
You wouldn't, like, fuck him in front of everybody like
Yeah.
Mason did. But...
No. I don't know.
Oh.
I
Like,
mean,
if
when we're
does
out
he
in
have an
public.
ex-girlfriend? I don't know.
Aaron?
Yeah.
Not a serious ex-girlfriend, no.
Well.
But, I mean, when we're out in public, I am always a little bit more close to Aaron because it's a comfort thing. So maybe it's just something that, like, I don't have to do that because it's already pretty obvious. Because I pretty much don't leave his side when we're out in public. So, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I do it unconsciously and I'm just not aware of it. But,
I don't think holding his hand, though, is... It was his mother's funeral.
yeah.
That one's not as bad as Mason by any means.
Oh, yeah, no.
But then they leave the funeral, they go to, like, the wake thing where they're eating... Oh, they go to the tavern, and they're eating pierogies that she made while she was sick
Yeah.
and froze them all. Because that was, like, what she was known for, is she was really good at making pierogies, and at this place, that's what everyone wanted to buy, is her pierogies. And so they froze a bunch, and that's what they were eating at this wake. And so I think she like goes near the kitchen or something, and she overhears Sam talking to his friends about her. I don't remember.
Yeah,
You
so
look distressed.
it's the teenage friends that we met from the Christmas
Jordy
years
and the other
ago.
one.
I think it's Finn or something like that. But one of them is like, bro, you're really going to do this again. And he's like, listen, I know. And they're like, bro, you were a mess. And he's like, I'm aware, but I think that I want this. And they're like, kind of basically trying to talk him out. And Percy's like, oh my God, they're talking about me.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I messed him up. And it's like, yeah, but of course you did. But
Yeah.
What's his name? Jordy.
I was like, who? Yeah, Jordy.
Jordy's like, bro,
I'm sure his
I
name
was
is Jordan, but
there.
Yeah.
I was there. You were a mess. She messed you up so
I
bad.
think Jordy was his college roommate.
Yeah.
So, like, they literally saw everything.
Everything. So she, like, turns up. She's like, I shouldn't be listening to this. And she, like, basically tries to run away. Runs into Charlie. Literally, physically runs into Charlie.
Yeah.
And then,
He notices she's, like, freaking the fuck out.
yeah. And then comes on a panic attack.
Yeah, she has a panic attack. And he notices that and, like, rushes her into the kitchen.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be a safe space, away from everybody.
Yeah, even though she's trying to go outside, he goes, oh, God, let's go to the kitchen because that's, like, the closest.
Yeah.
And, of course, the reason for her panic attack is in there.
Walks right in.
Yeah. And so, you know, Sam being a doctor, he's, like, trying to walk her through it, like, breathe, whatever.
Yeah.
And afterwards, he's like, oh, do you get these a lot? And she's like, not in a long time. And he's like, when's the last one? And she said 12 years ago, and looks up at Charlie. And he looks, I think it says, like,
It
he
was a
worked
panic
something
attack.
out, connected the dots that didn't quite fit together before.
Yeah. And he said it was a panic attack. And she's like, and I knew he wasn't asking about just then.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so we're like, oh, what the fuck is the
So-
panic attack about?
So, yeah, we know there's something there. Once again, isn't explained
yeah.
very well. So now we're going to, 13 years ago again. This chapter, though, is the fall. So it's right after they've decided they're doing the damn thing. Mm-hmm. Percy can drive now. Mm-hmm. So she drives to see Sam every weekend.
Yeah.
And so we get a lot of them together, you know, they're saying, I love you, them working together.
They had like a weekend routine. Like,
Yeah.
this is just how things went.
He
Yeah.
worked on Fridays when she got there, so she sat at the tavern and did homework, and like that's just like what they did, and she probably drove back on Sunday. And they're seniors now, so they're starting to get acceptance letters to colleges, and, you know, they're going to different colleges, and they start talking about that, like how it's going to work. And, you know, he's like, you know, we only saw each other for the summers, like our whole life. Like, we got this. Like,
Yeah, this is
we never
normal
see each
for
other
us.
anyway. Yeah, that's our normal. And so, you know, he's like, you know, we got this, we got this, we got this. And then he, you know, go to the May. He graduates. Obviously, so does she, but she goes to his graduation. He's like valedictorian.
Yeah.
They go to a party.
Yeah.
So the after graduation party, Charlie takes them, drops them off, and he tells her about this really cool summer program that he's like wanting to do. I can't remember if she knew about it before, but I don't think so.
Nope.
At all. And he's like, yeah, I got into this really cool program.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, like that's so cool. Like, when will you have to go? And he's like, it's in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because they thought this was their last summer together before college and all the things they're going to do together and blah, 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 blah. And he's kind of ripped that away from her.
Yep.
And he was hiding it because he was afraid, obviously, but like, come on.
Yeah.
And so now they have 2 weeks before he has to leave.
Yeah, and she's pissed.
Oh, gosh.
She's like, 1, you didn't tell me you were even thinking about this. 2, you didn't tell me you applied. And how long have you known that you got accepted into this?
She literally vomits on him.
Literally vomits.
She says, bleh. And so I think, you know, we see Sam, he leaves, we see that. And then a week goes by and she doesn't hear from him at all in that whole week.
Yeah.
And then she's like talking to Charlie. So this is kind of where her and Charlie start to hang out a bit more because he's just what's there. And Charlie tries to cheer her up this whole time. And he says, I hope he fights harder this time or someone else will. I was like, oh my God. And then Charlie also tells her, like, oh, he called Mom and said, like, he can't get his internet to work. And she's like, well, why can't he call me? Like, yeah, his internet don't work, but his phone works.
Yeah.
And then, whatever, that's all that really happens, just for then. Later on, a lot more happens, but moving on to now. The now part, it says in, like, I have it in quotes, but I don't really know all the lead up. They're talking about what happened in the past. And it says 12 years ago. Oh, she said, 12 years ago, you asked me to marry you. So we kind of know that happened. And then they go into his childhood bedroom. He still has the operation. He still has her stories. It's the same room. And they do the deed this time.
Yeah.
They actually do it. And he tells her, I love you, and all this. And she's like feeling guilty. And at the end of this chapter, it says, all the words of what happened start to bubble out of me.
Yeah.
And it ends there.
Fucking cliffhanger. The worst cliffhanger of the book. Like, she gives us little nuggets the entire time, like, at ended chapters that, like, tells us, like, oh, shit, some shit's about to go down. Like, what happened? This is the worst one.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the first time hearing this being so pissed at this cliffhanger. Every other one, I was like, ooh, intriguing. This one, I was fucking pissed. The second time reading this book, I forgot about that. I forgot that he asked her to marry him.
You did?
I forgot. And so when I read this again, it was like a heartbreak all over. All caps. I forgot about that. What the fuck? I'm crying again with multiple misspellings. Because I'm just like...
blurry-eyed.
Like, blurry-eyed.
Oh my God.
And yeah, he says, I love you. I don't think I ever stopped. And she's like... of all these words that we don't know yet.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
So then we go back. Summer 12 years ago, she's 18, you know, summer before college.
Yeah.
She finally hears from Sam.
Yeah.
I literally said 2 years after he left.
2 years.
It's 2 weeks. But my notes say it's years. 2 weeks after he's left, he finally calls her. And he's like, oh, hey, I got my email working this week.
Yeah. She's like, when?
And then they're on the phone. She hears a gal in the background. And he tells her, oh, that's Joe. She's like in this program.
Yeah.
Whatever. Hangs up they probably talk a little bit. Hang up the phone. Charlie notices she's really, really sad. Mm-hmm. And like just not herself. And he's like, let's try swimming again. Like,
yeah.
You haven't swum in a while. Let's do that again. Let's start that up. Like, I can be in the boat. You can swim your laps. And, like, we'll do that together now.
Yeah.
Because you need something. And so they train together every day. And, of course, the separation for Sam and Percy is really hard. He sends her email updates, but they're not very extensive. Mm-hmm. And he rarely calls. And when he does, it's very short. And he's tired. And
yeah.
And so it's just a lot. And she's getting really, really mad and getting kind of aggressive. She's getting mad at him, and like she's still very bitter about you didn't tell me.
Yeah.
In which, I mean, rightfully so. Mm-hmm. And she's like, you know, I have one quote here. I'm assuming she's like attacked. I think she says, "Did you go there to leave me?"
She's like, I feel like you did this to get away from me.
Yeah. And he said, I didn't come here to leave you. I came to start building something for myself, a future.
Yeah.
Sammy boy.
Yeah.
The worst words that could have came out of your mouth.
I know, and like.
Sammy boy.
We know.
I loved you.
Or like we assume that he means kind of like a foundation for like to be good for her. Like, but that for her, those two words are not included.
For us, it needed to be in there.
Yeah,
he fucked up.
They needed to be included because Percy is now seeing this as a selfish thing from Sam. Like Sam is doing this for himself.
I don't even think she sees it as like. I don't think she's feeling like vindictive, like he's being selfish. Blah, blah. I think she's like, oh my God, like there's no room for me in his life.
There's no plan for me in the future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not in his plans. Maybe
yeah.
Not, you know, and she's like, oh. So I think she starts to kind of like, kind of feel a little something. She gets real mad about that comment. But
yeah.
This is when Charlie invites her to see a horror movie at the drive-in. Mm-hmm. Around this time. He's like, hey, there's like a drive-in movie theater showing a horror film. I know you like horror films. Let's go.
Yep.
And she's like, yeah, let's go. Mm-hmm. And right before the horror film.
The fucking email.
Sam writes Percy an email saying they need to talk. Like, that's what it said. And he said, I've been really busy. I've been really struggling. I think we need to talk less. Yeah. Like, have some space. Talk less. Maybe once a week. Let's make Sunday night our days. Like a date.
And I think he actually did it in a pretty okay way. Like. Because he was like, I just think of you. I just think of you. If I know I get to talk to you on this day, it'll be easier for me to focus on what I'm doing. This is really important to me, but I still want this day with you. But we need a break. And, I mean, she sees it as, like, a potential, like, almost like a breakup.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because she sees it as he doesn't want to talk to me.
Yeah.
which, I mean, is kind of like what he said.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, yeah, everything that she like, receives from it is valid because, like, that fucking sucks. But it's also wrong. But, like, it's not completely her fault that she's seeing it the way that she's saying it. Sam could have articulated a little bit better. But considering it is also articulated pretty well for the circumstance. I don't know. There was a...
I mean, yeah, it's so...
Yeah.
So hard at that age. Like,
perspective is a lot. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's just, like, a lot of other stuff that's happened. And then, of course, what happens after. So she's like, fuck that. I'm not waiting until Sunday, bitch. You're going to tell me that to my face. Or, you know,
like
my ear. And so she calls him. And Joe picks up that girl.
Yep.
And there's really loud music in the background. And Joe's like, oh, my God, Percy? And then you hear, like, everyone shuffling. The music turns off. And Sam grabs the phone.
Yep.
And he's like, he's drunk. And I don't even know what he says, but he ends up hanging up.
Yeah.
We later find out it's so he could go vomit. But she's fucking pissed.
Yeah.
She's like, says, why doesn't he want to talk to me? So we can hang out with this bitch and get drunk with his friends. And, like, super pissed off. Which, I mean, I get.
Yeah, and this also just doesn't seem like Sam.
True.
Like, the entire time that we've seen him, he's, like, a sipper or whatever, but he's never been, like, a drinker. So, like, her calling and him being drunk is, like, shocking. Mm-hmm. So it's like, who is
I'm
this?
sure the girl answering the phone was not helpful either.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Why would you answer someone else's I guess, wait, what's the year potential? It could be, like, wasn't it, like, the dorm phone or something?
Oh, I didn't do it. I don't know the years.
Yeah, but, I mean, I think back then it would have made sense for a random person to pick up the fucking landline or whatever.
I'm sure it was a landline, but still, it's not your fucking room.
Yeah.
Like, it's not for you.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, she goes to drive in with Charlie, like, a few days later. Like, this is all within a week. This is on the Sunday. It's supposed to be their call day. So, obviously, she says, fuck that, I'm not doing that. She goes to drive in with Charlie. She tells him about the email. And I think she says, like, I think we're broken up.
He said he broke up with you. And she's like, I don't know.
Like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
And so they go to the movie, whatever. He buys her all this food. And she invites him in after. And they drink a little. I don't even think they drink any, but for some fucking reason, they end up sleeping together. She just, like, threw herself at him.
Yeah,
literally,
he's like,
she threw herself at him.
Yeah, he's saying all the right things. And,
Truly,
like, he is basically shitting
there
on Sam in, like, a subtle way. Like, he's like, yeah, he's stupid. He should treat you better. I've always kind of had this thing for you. You know, like, you're great. And I wrote, in quotes, I wanted to be wanted so badly. Like, she was just hurt. She was bleeding. And someone is standing in front of her wanting her. And it's just like Mason. Mm-hmm. Sam didn't want her. Mason did. So she just fucking went with Mason. Do I agree with this? No. Do I understand it? I don't sympathize. Like, I don't get it. Like, Caitlin would never. But, like, okay, I fucking get it. But it sucks.
Yeah, like her head.
Because they went all the way. Which she had never done with Sam. Her and Charlie went all the way. And the next bit of my notes is just...
tears. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it says constant state of tears. And I have one sentence. All the times where I continuously cry for the rest of the fucking book.
That does...
The morning
that
after...
makes sense why you were very adamant about her and, what's-his-face not sleeping together. That makes sense why you were very adamant that Sam and her didn't sleep together.
Oh, yeah,
so
I know
her first time was with Charlie.
Her first time was with Charlie.
Yeah, that makes it way worse.
And
I never gathered that.
No, the morning after, I put the morning after, ugh. Like, when she wakes up.
Well, you know what? You reap what you sow, my gal.
You reap what you fucking sow. You reap what you fucking sow. Do I agree with it? Absolutely fucking not. Do I want to, like... There's no justification. This is really awkward because there's no justification. You know, it was wrong. But also, like, she's hurting really badly. He's there, but also, like, actually cares for her and is, like, willing to show it. Sam wasn't. He was saying all the right and wrong things simultaneously. Bro, it's so much.
She has a panic attack as soon as she wakes up. So that's kind of what it was alluding to in the present day previously, where Charlie like looks at her and was like, a panic attack?
It was a panic attack.
And like he looks at her. So it was kind of alluding to this moment because he didn't know what the fuck was going on. Because I think he just left. I can't really remember.
He like waited for her to calm down, and then she was like rage tears. She's like, get out. Like,
yeah, she was mad at him.
I hate you. I hate myself. Like, I never want to see you again type thing. Get out. And he's like apologizing profusely. He's like, I never meant to hurt you. And she's like, I hurt myself. I hate myself. Leave me alone. And I'm just like, duh. It was awful. It was awful to read.
Yeah, it was painful.
Yeah.
And then we find out at the end of summer that her parents are selling the cottage.
Yeah.
To pay for her college.
Yeah.
Because
they can't do it all.
Yeah. So they're selling the cottage to pay for her college because she's going to the school where they teach. So even at a discount, they got to sell this house. So that was the last summer there. That was unfortunate.
Yep.
And then she ends up going to school in Toronto or whatever and never tells Sam what happened after all this time. So the first time they see each other now is on Thanksgiving. So they saw each other in what? May? And the next time they see each other is Thanksgiving. And he like pulls her aside and he proposes to her.
Yeah, during the 3 updates.
Oh yeah, he says 1, 2, 3, will you marry me or something?
Yeah, he was like 1, I love you.
Oh yeah.
2, I think it was like something like I never want to be without you. 3, will you marry me? And it's just like she tells us of this elation of emotions that she has, and then just like a crash
bursting,
of like, I don't deserve this. He doesn't know. This is awful. And she says no, and then not only just no, but like a we're done type thing. And he's like,
what?
Yeah, totally lost. Has no fucking idea why.
But also Sam's kind of dumb, I think.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, he hasn't been the best either.
Yeah, but he doesn't see that.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like,
And he tells
doesn't
her
realize
in
his
this
own
conversation.
shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, bro, you don't see what you're doing. What?
Oh, it's late.
Huh?
It's late.
No. You said... And then we go back to present tense after that. And then this is where she's a grown-up and telling Sam what happened.
Yeah.
She knows she's word vomits. I slept with Charlie that summer. I'm sure she says other things. His response was painful.
How was it?
How was it? Damn.
She said, huh? I said, you fucked my brother. How was it?
The venom. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. It
I
was like...
I can't believe that came out of your mouth.
Tears all over again. Because now it's like sadness tears. Like, I don't... Ugh. It's crazy. Yeah. And she starts to have a panic. She starts to like... She's like,
yeah, she panics again.
She's like, I'm freaking out. I need to get out. Like, I got to get out of here. And he's like, you really going to run away right now? And she's like, yeah, I fucking am. She opens the door. Car's not there.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
like,
Charlie took it.
She's like, where's my fucking car? And then she walks to her cottage. She's like, I got to get home. I got to go home. And
he's
then
like, that
she's
ain't
like,
your house.
This isn't mine. So then she falls to the ground. And Sam, again, walks her through a panic attack.
And he literally says, 2 in 1 day, that's traumatic. He says that. I was like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
She passes out, actually.
He's done with her shit.
Yeah. Oh, he says something like, I don't remember, but something he says makes her and us realize he knew all along. Mm-hmm. He's known this whole time.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't news to him.
Uh-huh.
Because I think she said at one point, like, you'd never called me, you never talked to me
He's
again.
like, you fucked my brother. What did... Oh, yeah.
He's like, I was mad at you. Or just, he said something that made you realize he knows.
He knew before.
Yeah, he's known this whole time.
Yeah, and I instantly made the connection. Like, he still said, I love you. And he still said, I never stopped. I instantly made that. Percy, in her fucking freaked out state, didn't make that connection until after the panic attack.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But she has a panic attack and passes out. And then we go back again.
Yeah.
To 12 years ago. But this is winter. So after they've broken up, it's winter. Delilah and Sam go to the same school. And so Delilah sees Sam on campus at a party, super drunk. And Sam hits on Delilah.
Yep.
Which she hasn't kind of been talked about a lot. But she's always around. Like, they're friends the whole time. And Delilah calls Percy and tells her, like, hey, I saw Sam. Do you want to know about it?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, tell me. And she's like, are you sure?
Yeah.
And she's like, yes, I need to know. And so, Delilah tells Percy, hey, he hit on me. Or he, made some moves on me. And Percy's like, what'd you do?
Yeah.
He wouldn't do that. You're a slut. Or something.
Yeah, he's like, you're a little slutty and you've always been proud of it. And good on Delilah, because she says this. She's like, I know you're hurting, but don't talk to me like that. And don't call me until you're ready to apologize. And I was like, fuck yeah. Boundaries and respect for your fucking self, bro.
Dude,
like,
I was so impressed.
I was
like,
so impressed.
So now we know that's why her and Delilah don't speak.
Yeah, and they still haven't to this day.
She never called and apologized.
Never.
Which I'm like, Percy, grow the fuck up.
Honestly. Well, she
Grow
said
up.
when she finally, like, had enough wherewithal to be like, yeah, I fucked up. It was, like, too long. And she's, like, embarrassed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that as embarrassing time.
Yeah.
And so she just never called, so they weren't friends. And even at some point during the present, I don't remember when exactly, but Sam mentions Delilah. And he was like, she was always a good friend to you.
And she just kind of stays silent.
I know, she's probably like, fuck.
Yeah.
I fucked that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, damn. Because, Sam didn't like her at first.
Yeah.
And then for him to say that, I feel like is crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, damn. Because Delilah was.
She was. She was always on her side.
Always, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we go back to present day. Bruh. Percy sees Charlie, and they're talking. Because he's, you told him, blah, blah. They're just kind of talking. And, he was like, do you hate me? And he's like, she said, never. I could never hate you. Like, that was on me, not you necessarily. And then she said, did your mom know? I cried a lot. And
Yeah.
he said, yeah, she knew, but she blamed me.
Yeah.
He immediately blamed me, said it was my fault. And then she told me to call you before she died. And
Bro.
she said he'd need you after.
Bubbles. Bubbles.
Snot bubbles or what?
Snot bubbles. Tear bubbles. I was bubbling. Like, everything was just like the whole thing. When Charlie said, Sue told me to call you because he would need you, I was like, what?
Can't breathe.
And then before this conversation, she calls Chantal and she tells her everything. And she's like, I still love him. I don't deserve him. She's like, yeah, you do. And she's like, no, I don't. And she's like, yes, you do. And Percy says, what if he doesn't think so? And she goes, then you can come home and I can tell you all the reasons why he's wrong. I said,
Yeah, Chantel's a really good friend. I don't know how this bitch, she kind of sucks, and she has the best friends. She's a shitty friend. The shittiest. And then she has the best friends.
the conversation with Chantal sent me.
Yeah, Chantel was a great friend, too. She really lucked out. Because I feel like Chantel would have, like, even when she was going to the funeral, she's like, you need me to go with you. Like, I'll be there. I'll come with.
She's like,
she's like, no,
"Alright,
I
bitch."
gotta do it by
So,
myself.
let's go.
Yeah.
She's ready for it. Oh, shit.
Oh, man. And then Percy and Sam, of course, have a long heart-to-heart on the lake, whatever. They get back together. And then we get an epilogue. Were you so happy?
Yeah, I think you kind of skipped over the conversation with Sam a little too quickly.
Okay, whatever.
It's
I
fine.
mean, they just say shit.
Yeah, and I think his articulation still just comes out very nicely in this. Because she's like, I deserved it. Like, I deserved the way that you hated me. And he was like, betrayals don't cancel each other out. They just hurt more. And I was like, oh, God.
I feel like he grew up a lot.
Yeah.
Because as a kid, he didn't know how to communicate worth a damn thing. Like, he
Not
couldn't
his
communicate
own.
to save his life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I feel like he definitely got better, and they, talked out all their shit.
Yeah. And he's like, I forgave you a long time ago. I
Yeah.
was like, God bless America. She got lucky.
Truly.
She
With
got
that,
lucky.
yeah, and all her friends. Like,
Yeah.
so then it's an epilogue a year later. And this is where they spread Sue's ashes.
Yeah.
They've waited a year because they weren't ready, and they spread them in the lake. And we find out in this epilogue that they're living together in Toronto. And, like, Charlie lives in Toronto, and they hang out. Really, that's all. And then at the end, she proposes to Sam with a friendship bracelet. Right?
Yeah, embroidery floss, like a little ring of embroidery floss or something.
It's a ring.
Yeah.
Floss. And then she calls Delilah.
Yeah.
And she said, bitch, what took you so long?
I love that.
I know.
And she's not
Where you
like,
been?
she's not like a bitch about it or anything. She's like,
Damn,
it's almost
girl.
like she knew it was gonna happen.
One
and she was
day.
just waiting. Like, oh, yeah.
And so she meets up with her and has coffee with her, and that's kind of the end of it. I feel like this one had a very abrupt ending too, but
Yeah, it kind of was like, it was
literally the buildup was insane.
insane.
To just
Like one conversation and they're good. Which, I
Pretty
mean,
cheap.
like, it wasn't. And they talked about a little bit in the epilogue of, like, their struggles. And, yeah, they had fights. And, like, they're still, like, trying to figure this shit out. But they're together. I mean, that's pretty, you know, the day after your mom's funeral, like, starting a new relationship. It's a little, you know. Like,
yeah, rocky.
maybe.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It was crazy. But, man, I mean, I knew halfway into this book it was going to be a 5-star for me.
Yeah, I gave it 4 stars the first time.
Okay.
The second time I gave it 2. No, I'm just kidding. I gave it 5.
I was about to fucking say. I was like, what are you talking about?
I
No.
gave it 5 stars the second time. It was great. I think I liked it more the second time because I could see things. I saw her and Charlie's relationship
Yeah.
way sooner.
Yeah, like Charlie always kind of had it down bad.
I actually always knew she was going to sleep with Charlie.
I
Even the
didn't.
first time. I know you didn't.
No, it was...
But, okay, I had read The Summer I Turned Pretty before this. You had not.
Oh, okay.
Remember?
Yeah.
And so I knew exactly what was going to happen because it's a carbon copy.
Yeah.
You had not read it.
I hadn't.
So I knew she was going to do something with Charlie. Charlie was involved.
No, I didn't see... I didn't see it at all. I had no idea what it could have been.
mystery?
And then when the summer where Charlie was, like, really, really there for her... I started being like, all right, now, like, when are we going to put the brakes on this?
You're like, whoa,
I'm like,
whoa.
wait, we're,
Whoa.
whoa, back it up. Come on now. No.
She said full steam ahead.
No, I'm crying the entire time. I'm like, I'm not well. I'm unwell the entire time. First and second time around, I was still unwell. Like, bro.
Yeah, I think I definitely cried more the second time.
Yeah.
Once again, I think I was...
I wrote down every time I cried. I said,
Would
first
you
time
wanna read 'em?
crying. Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm like...
Let's see.
Sniffles. Still crying.
Let's see. Oh, first cry on page 91. Who said it?
She's got receipts.
Okay, they're at the tavern. Present day. Present day, they're at the tavern. And he says, you were right earlier. He says, his voice rough as gravel. It's a lot having you here. It kind of feels like I've been punched in the heart.
You cried there?
I cried.
Okay.
Okay. Second time.
But you didn't cry there the first time around, did you?
I don't think so.
Yeah, this was
Okay,
the second.
second time crying in this current read is when Sam's crying in his truck the morning of his mom's funeral, where he's just like silent sobbing. I just like, men showing vulnerability in that way like is always a trigger for me. Like, I don't know why. A man crying, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
It's gonna kill me. Okay, the funeral scene was the third time I cried. We didn't talk about their eulogies, Charlie and
you're
Sam
right.
talking.
They were beautiful.
The details of the eulogies themselves weren't actually given, but the emotions behind it were. And, you know, Charlie's was emotion filled and Sam's was kind of like just not like emotional like in a sad way, but everyone was kind of giggling and like he was self-deprecating, and it was just like the way that he was speaking, she's like falling in love with him all over again, and like that made me that was the third time I cried. And then the morning after, and I just put constant state of tears. The call with Chantal. Charlie asking if she hates him. Sue telling Charlie to call Percy. Betrayals don't cancel each other out. I forgave you years ago. The whole last page of the book.
Tears. So yeah, just the end of the book. You were unwell.
I'm just unwell.
So, you know, I know we've talked about this was her first book, and then her second book, Meet Me at the Lake, is already picked up for a film adaptation.
Yeah.
But this one's not.
I don't, maybe it'd be really hard to cast this.
You think that doesn't, I don't think that would be the problem with it.
I don't know.
You know?
I don't know, yeah. But what are the reviews like between the two?
Oh, I have no idea.
Because I don't think Meet Me at the Lake has had such high reviews as Every Summer After.
I don't think it has been as good. To my knowledge. I mean, once again, we haven't read it.
I have it. I just got it for a Christmas present.
I saw that.
Yeah. Very excited about it. It's also a very beautiful cover.
3.1 or 3.71.
That's Meet Me at the Lake, yeah.
And it got picked up for a movie adaptation
This
already.
one has a Goodreads rating of 4.24.
That's super good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know a soul who doesn't like this book.
I mean, I haven't met a single person that doesn't like it. My mom was reading it, and I was like, where are you? And she told me where, and she was like, I said this. I said, she goes, oh shit, I guess stuff's about to go down. She's like, I'm not like head over heels for this book yet. And I said, just wait.
Just what if she freaking hates it?
I will be very sad. I follow a girl. Cut that out. Please, God, cut that out.
Okay. We'll see.
Oh, God. I'm dying.
I like you're choking and waving Joe down. What if she needed help? Go on.
I follow this girl. She was going through her want to reads on Goodreads, and she was like filtering them out. This was on her want to reads, and she's like, oh, I heard there's a cheating trope, like I'm not gonna read it. And I was like, wait, no, listen. Yes, like, yes, you're right, but it's not idealized, it's not normalized, nothing is
But get back together. I bet
after years.
still, I bet people have a big problem with that.
She fucked up one time.
I know. I'm just saying, a lot of people would have a problem with that.
I get it. Cheating is like, it's a hard fucking no for many people. So I get it. But when she said that was the reason, she was like, oh, I heard there's a cheating trope. I'm like, it's not a trope. It's just heartbreak. It's different. But she said she wasn't going to read it. She took it off. And I wanted to be like, no, bitch, please. Like, you got to try.
Like, help me.
Yeah.
So, I know, once again, we've compared this a lot to The Summer I Turned Pretty.
Yeah.
I think each brother has, like, characteristics of both of the brothers. Like, I don't think one's one and one's the other.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I liked that aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's because, you know, Sam gave Jeremiah as, like, best friend, sweet.
Yeah.
Younger. But obviously Conrad in the way that was the one for her.
Yeah. And the way that it was kind of like this emotional unavailability at points in time.
Yeah, he did give Conrad a lot of that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Charlie's Charlie, super outgoing and bubbly like Jeremiah, but the older like Conrad and...
Yeah.
You know, whatever. Fuck something like Jeremiah. No, I don't think she would. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyway. We already did one. So I don't know about yours, but my book has discussion questions in the back.
What?
I think yours does too, actually.
MMA.
But there was a few of them I liked.
Yes.
So question 3.
Okay.
Sam and Percy's romantic relationship began when they were very young. Do you think it would have survived had they not broken up? Or did they need the time apart to ultimately end up together?
That's actually a really good question.
I know. Obviously, it's hard to tell because they're not real people, but...
Yeah, it is hard to tell because, like, I think there are aspects of every childhood love that a person needs in order to grow, like, and, like, come into the human that they're meant to be. And I think there is beauty in growing together, but for these two in specific, I don't know if that would have been the case for them. I think they probably would have lasted, but I don't think they would have appreciated each other in the same way as they do now, being 30 and rekindling, if that makes sense.
I just don't know if Percy could have done it.
Yeah.
Like, just how she acted with just 2 months away.
Yeah.
Literally lost her shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know if they would have. I think it'd have been really hard on her, and if he still wanted to keep his calls to once a week, you know, I think that would have just been really hard for her.
Yeah, I mean, it did give us a little bit of insight to, like, after the internship was over and he finally was like, man, I was struggling, you know?
Oh, yeah, he was super unwell, depressed. He was like, you know, everyone here is so smart. You know, when you grow up in a small town, you're the smart person. You just don't have a lot of competition. And then when you go to college, especially that program, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Everyone's fucking smart, if not way smarter than you.
Yeah.
And so you have to work a lot harder. And it's always kind of pointed out through the book, he does have to work hard for his knowledge. He's not naturally gifted like Charlie. Like, he's not just naturally smart. He works really hard for his smartness.
Yeah.
He studies all summer. He studies all the time. He has to work for that.
Yeah, and, like,
So
Percy's constantly reminding him, like, hey, go hang out with your friends. Like, it's okay to take one night off.
Yeah.
But like
He's
a
like, "No, I
little
gotta
bit
be best."
after, like when the actual semester starts, he does try to come and see her. And she's the one pushing him away because she feels guilty about this secret that she's holding.
Yeah.
So
she's like, oof,
they
I
may
can't look him
have
in the
been
eye.
able to make the weekends work. They
Yeah,
may
that's
have been
true.
able to.
Because I don't know how far they were from each other, but
Me neither. I don't remember.
who knows. How do you think Charlie feels about Percy in the past and present?
How do you think Charlie feels about Percy?
I didn't think Charlie liked her the whole time.
I mean, it would have been, honestly, it kind of would have been a little bit weird because I think there's a big difference.
Because he was rooting for them a long time.
Yeah. And I think there's a big difference between 15 and 13 and 16 and 14. When we get to like the 18, 16, that's when I start, seeing that there's not really that big of a difference in age. But for some reason, like 15, 13, that's a big difference, I feel like. But no, I think he was mad at Sam more than anything, and seeing Percy as a person for Sam, he was able to see how great she was. And I think when Sam hurt her, that's when Charlie started like to actually feel something.
Yeah,
he was like,
I
this
think
girl
it was
doesn't.
that last summer he started to feel.
He's like, this girl doesn't deserve that. She's actually really fucking cool. And then that's when.
And then, of course, she's there and Sam's not there.
Yeah.
And they can spend a lot of actual time together. Because she never actually spent time with Charlie.
Ooh.
We've already talked about Delilah a lot.
6 is a good one.
Okay. Oh. Yeah. How did Percy's betrayal change your opinion of her? Do you sympathize with what she did, or do you think her act is forgivable? I really struggle with that one.
Yeah.
Because one, kind of like I pointed out when we were talking about her and Mason, and when she was like, Sam, I have a boyfriend, you need to respect that.
Mm-hmm. Like,
She acted like she had
did
some, yeah, and then she didn't even do it.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't reciprocate that respect back to Sam.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, I know they were kids, but it's still, I don't know.
Yeah. It seems a lot more intentional. Not like intentional, like, I'm going to fuck his brother then. But, like, she knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
So that aspect of it is kind of like, babe, like, you did not, you didn't need to do all that. Like, at any point in time, you could have stopped. Especially because we also know that they used a condom. Like, that was hey, we got to pause. Like, let me find the shit. Let me wrap up. And now we can proceed. Like, there's time where it wasn't just like a fluid, go, 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 oh, shit. Like, there was steps in between.
Well, yeah.
So, yeah. Do I think it's forgivable? Yeah. I genuinely do.
Yeah.
Because they were...
What?
The mic's falling over.
Just hold it right there, maybe.
Hello.
There's like a nut right there that you can tighten. Okay.
I think this is our equipment's sign telling us, like...
Stop, I'm tired.
Time to...
I'm tired.
Time to wrap it up.
I know, we are. Okay.
Did you want to add any more comments?
I don't think so.
I mean, genuinely, this is like one of my favorite reads ever. I did very passionately want to discuss this book in the podcast, even though it's dead of winter. I was like, yes.
Oh, yeah, it's summer, but we must.
Like, we must.
We must talk about it no matter what.
Joe, have you ever been on camera?
It should be fun.
It's not.
Wow.
You said it should be fine.
Okay.
Anyway.
I feel like my face is red from crying. Do I look like I've been crying?
I mean, no.
Okay, good.
You have a little bit of red here and some watery eyes, but nothing like...
Okay,
you're
because
not,
like
raccoon
my
it up.
reflection in my laptop is like, girl, you've been crying.
No.
This is probably so loud.
I know. I'll wait till you're done. You have to cut some of this shit out at this point.
Us running out of footage room is because of all those fucking video notes I took for these last 2 podcasts.
You didn't delete them?
No. I just fucking wrote them out today.
Oh.
There we go.
Okay.
Damn.
Should be.
Anyways.
So I think we're going to wrap that up.
Yeah,
a minute.
I think this may be the most emotional that we've gotten, or at least the most emotional I've gotten on a book, and it wasn't very sexy.
Oh, it's not the most emotional I've been on a book. In a book. If that's what you're saying.
No, in this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Just for like
I thought you meant a book wise.
what we've. Oh no, actually,
What we've covered.
no. Okay, I'm trying to think of like another book that made me cry in the same ways that this one did. What was yours?
One True Loves.
Oh, sorry.
And A Little Life.
You read that?
Yeah.
I didn't know you read that.
Yes, I literally immediately texted you and said, "Do not read this."
Okay, cool.
I was
That
like,
maybe that's why I've never had the
I was
interest
like,
to.
don't read it. It's so sad,
Yeah.
and I just don't think you would like it. But
Bailey's my literature filter. She
Yeah,
reads
I
stuff
read
so
the-
I don't have to, and then
Yeah,
lets
I'm
me
like,
know if I
"Oof,
should or
this has
not.
this and this, and you probably don't want to touch that.
Yeah. She's my trigger checker.
For real. So what are we reading next time?
Oh yeah. Okay. So
You picked it out.
I did pick it out. Okay, so for the whole month of February, we're going to dissect the Dreamland Billionaire trilogy. So each episode will be one of the books, and it is talking about, I think, a group of brothers. I think it's 3 brothers, and
I
their
literally know nothing about them.
love interests. So yeah, each week will be a different brother, and we're going to do it a little bit different because not every time we record one of the books are we actually going to know the outcomes of the entire series, right? We're going to do 1 and then 2 and 3, I think. When we've done like duologies or interconnected series, we knew the outcome of the entire book. So it's going to be a little different. We'll be able to do a little bit of like,
I like first
initial
initial
thoughts and like what
Maybe
we
can
think.
predict. Yeah.
That's the word, predict. Like it'll be a little different, so I'm really, really excited for that one. So yes, Dreamland Billionaires. The books are huge. If you have Kindle Unlimited, they're on Kindle Unlimited, right?
Yes.
Or check your local library before you buy the books because it is a 3-book set. So
Yes. The first one is called The Fine Print. The second one is Terms and Condition, and then lastly, Final Offer by Lauren Asher.
Lauren Asher. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm very, very excited to get into these. I've
Yeah,
heard
they're
very
pretty
good
popular,
things. Yeah,
so-
super popular.
I am excited.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, if you're watching on YouTube, we love it if you like and subscribe it, and then comment like your thoughts of the book, or if you have comments on what our thoughts were. If you disagree with us, we'd love to know.
Yeah.
We have an Instagram. What's it called again?
At Our Book Boyfriends Podcast.
One word.
All together, baby.
Yep. And then if you're on Apple or Spotify, we'd love it if you could rate it and leave a review.
Yep.
And that's all.
Thanks so much.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
What are you?
Okay. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like the video, comment if you've ever read this book. Hopefully you have read this book if you've listened to this. Cut that whole thing.
Okay. It'll be good.
I'm gonna start taking advantage of that. Be like, I fucked that sentence up, fixed it. Okay. I can't. Just fucking do it, please, God.
Are you recording her? Good. That one's going down. Oh, they're all down. Update, all down.
Damn, he was just so meticulously over there.
You gotta hire us a cameraman.
He's like, it's your money, not mine.
Huh?
He said, it's your money, not mine.
Sam would be a lot more expensive than me.